Chapter 906. With Purple Star as the center, there were countless defense lines built within 7 light years. Among them, 18 strongholds were the most famous. In order to attack Purple Star, they had to pass through these 18 strongholds. And now, the first stronghold was the ancient Cold Stronghold. The owner of this stronghold was a top-notch great Dao Lord. He stood on the walls of the stronghold and looked at the mighty bandit army in the distance with disdain in his eyes. "You're overestimating yourselves if you want to attack Purple Star. There are 18 strongholds, but you can't even pass through the first one." The owner of the ancient Cold Stronghold, Dao Lord Guhan, sneered. The 18 strongholds were built with Purple Star's full effort. Each stronghold was equipped with countless array formations and could be said to be indestructible. These bandits won't be able to break through the ancient Cold Stronghold. We just need to wait for the experts from other civilizations to eliminate them. Dao Lord Guhan thought to himself. Meanwhile, the various major factions were also paying attention to what the bandits would do. If they really stopped here, the chaotic ocean would become the biggest joke in the entire Purple Gold Galaxy. Among the millions of warships, the 3 pirate lords looked at the ancient Cold Stronghold not far away. They could not help but frown when they saw the countless array formations circulating in the stronghold. They felt helpless. "What should we do next?" "Let's stop first," the Tianfeng Pirate King said. "If we go any closer, we'll crash into these array formations." "There's no need to stop." At this moment, a voice came from within the warship. The 3 pirate lords and the Black Blood Hall Master looked at each other. If they did not stop, they would crash into them? "Well, listen to young master." The Fire Demon Pirate King gritted his teeth and said. The millions of warships continued advancing toward the stronghold. When the various major factions saw this scene, they could not help but be shocked. "What are they trying to do?" "If we go any closer, we'll crash into the array formations of the ancient Cold Stronghold." "Are they tired of living?" "Looks like we'll crash into them and die." These bandits are indeed a bunch of suicidal lunatics. In the ancient Cold Stronghold, Dao Lord Guhan was also slightly surprised. He sneered and said, "Trying to forcefully break through? Foolish." Then he said loudly, "Everyone get ready. Once these bandits enter the attack range of the array formations, destroy them." The people in charge of all the major formations activated the formations. Not long later, the ancient Frost Fortress was surrounded by countless array formations. Killing arrays and trapping arrays were activated one after another. The million warships continued to advance. In front of him were countless restrictive formations. Just as the countless battleships were about to collide, a peerlessly tyrannical aura erupted. A large amount of Emperor Qi soared into the sky from one of the battleships, interweaving in the void to form an Emperor Dharma idol. There was a large amount of golden sword Qi circulating within the Emperor Dharma idol's palm, emitting a powerful immortal technique that shook the universe. This aura is... All the experts who were paying attention to this battle couldn't help but narrow their eyes, as if they had thought of something at the same time. The sword Qi in the palm of the giant Dharma idol transformed into a golden sword shadow that spanned across the heavens and earth and stretched for hundreds of millions of feet. Wherever the sword shadow went, the void cracked and the sky collapsed. Within billions of kilometers, countless stars trembled. This strike collided violently with the ancient Cold Fortress's restrictions. One by one, the formations and restrictions shattered and exploded. The entire ancient Cold Fortress was plunged into unprecedented turbulence. The fortress was in turmoil, and the cultivators were running for their lives. The stars lost their luster. Countless cultivators who were watching were even more dumbfounded. Dao Master Guhan watched in a daze as the sword descended. As if it was tearing through thin paper, it easily tore apart the formations and restrictions of the 18 fortresses. The aftermath of the sword Qi swept past. Dao Master Guhan didn't even have time to react before he was blasted into pieces by the terrifying sword Qi. After the sword strike, the originally majestic ancient Cold Fortress was split in half. Countless wreckages of battleships and fortress fragments floated in the starry sky. Although the sword chi had dissipated, the terrifying pressure still lingered in the air, intimidating everyone who had witnessed this sword. Eliminate the remaining enemies. A cold voice sounded. The 3 bandit lords and the Black Blood Hall Master finally regained their senses. Fire! The Heavenly Wind Bandit King let out a long cry. Instantly, beams of energy shot out from the countless battleships. Like a storm, they bombarded the dilapidated ancient cold fortress. The Purple Star cultivators guarding the fortress were already scared out of their wits by that strike. They didn't have any room to organize a resistance. Soon, some were injured, some were dead, and some had escaped. The ancient cold fortress was destroyed. The bandits cheered excitedly and shouted loudly. In the void, the onlooking cultivators gradually regained their senses. However, they still couldn't help but feel shocked when they saw the dilapidated ancient cold fortress. If I'm not mistaken, that strike just now was poetic sword god Chu Kuangren's immortal technique, right? A cultivator said with a trembling voice. That's right, it's him. My heavens, just what level has this person's strength reached? This fortress was actually destroyed by a single slash of his sword. He's too powerful. Poetic sword god Chu Kuangren once said that he wanted to let the Purple Star cultivators have a taste of what it feels like to be destroyed. It seems like he was telling the truth. I just didn't expect him to gather all the bandits in the disordered galaxy. The Purple Star cultivators have offended a powerful person this time. Countless cultivators discussed among themselves. Meanwhile, the major forces also realized that the disordered galaxy's operation this time was led by Chu Kuangren. The eyes of the strong cultivators who were secretly ordered by the Purple Star cultivators to hunt down and kill them lit up as an impulse quickly spread in their hearts. An impulse to run to Chu Kuangren's aid. The Purple Star cultivators once sent the Black Blood Gang to hunt us down. If we don't die, I'm afraid they won't let this matter rest. There's a way to solve this once and for all. As long as we help Chu Kuangren take care of the Purple Star cultivators, we'll have our revenge and won't have to worry about the Purple Star cultivators coming after us again. Purple Star, I still need to settle the score with them. All of a sudden, the strong cultivators who were hunted down in the past began to make their moves. Meanwhile, in the Purple Star cultivators, upon learning that Chu Kuangren was the mastermind, Palace Master Ziwei stomped her feet in anger. Chu Kuangren. It's this guy again. I haven't even settled the score with him the last time, and he's here again. Good. If that's the case, then let's settle the score with him as well. Gather some men, I'll personally go to war and fight this person. Palace Master Ziwei said coldly. At that moment, the Purple Star Sky Protector beside her said, Palace Master, the forces that Chu Kuangren has gathered in the disordered galaxy are no longer to be underestimated. I'm afraid it's inappropriate for us to go to war without careful consideration. Why don't we just wait and see? Wait and see? That's right. No matter how strong Chu Kuangren is, he'll lose at least 90% of the people he leads if he wants to break through the 18 lines of defense and reach the Purple Star cultivators. Then, we'll gather the Purple Star forces and annihilate him and his motley crew in one fell swoop. The Purple Star Sky Protector said coldly. What the Sky Protector says makes sense. Then let's wait for him to come. Palace Master Ziwei said coldly. Chapter 907. Chu Kuangren had personally led countless bandits from the disordered galaxy to attack the Purple Star Alliance. The news quickly spread throughout the Purple Gold Galaxy. All the civilizations and orthodoxies were shocked to the core. The name of poetic sword god Chu Kuangren was once again pushed to the forefront. Poetic sword god Chu Kuangren is too crazy to do something like this. I thought he was just joking, but I didn't expect him to actually declare war on the entire Purple Star Alliance. Not only did he declare war, but he also dragged all the bandits from the disordered galaxy into this mess. My goodness, I can't afford to offend him in the future. Tisk, what a monster. The Purple Gold Galaxy is going to be lively. Compared to the onlookers, the affiliated civilizations of the Purple Star Alliance were on high alert. If the Purple Star Alliance was destroyed, they would not be any better. The Purple Star Alliance had issued a death order to keep Chu Kuangren and the bandits from the disordered galaxy out of the Purple Star Alliance. They would kill as many as they could. It was obvious that the Purple Star Alliance was using them as cannon fodder. However, they had no other choice. As Purple Star Alliance's affiliated civilizations, their lifelines were in the hands of the Purple Star Alliance. If they disobeyed, the Purple Star Alliance could annihilate them at any time. In an instant, all the great civilizations made their moves. They gathered their troops and headed towards Chu Kuangren's location. A galactic war had just begun. Somewhere in space. The second of the 18 strongholds. Chu Kuangren swung his sword, and a gigantic sword shadow split the entire stronghold in half, just like how he split the ancient Frost stronghold. That earth-shattering sword strike sent chills down everyone's spines. Chu Kuangren's combat strength is too terrifying. I'm afraid even a peak Heavenly Dao Master might not be able to unleash that attack. He's a monster. Countless people were shocked. The combat strength that Chu Kuangren had displayed was completely different from his actual age. It was beyond everyone's understanding. Amidst the deafening explosion, the stronghold collapsed. Suddenly, a large number of cultivators emerged from the collapsed stronghold and charged towards the bandits. Kill him. Whoever kills Chu Kuangren will be rewarded with 100 billion spiritual pith. Some of these cultivators were from the various affiliated civilizations of the Purple Star Alliance, while some were from the local strongholds. A bloody battle broke out in the starry sky. Chu Kuangren was extremely calm when he saw that. As he channeled his mind power, countless spiritual power weapons swept out in all directions. All the cultivators who approached him were killed one by one. The battle lasted for a day and a night. In the end, Chu Kuangren's side emerged victorious. Young Master, we lost a total of 1.68 million people in this battle, including monarchs. Tianfeng Bandit King wanted to report the losses. However, Chu Kuangren waved his hand and said indifferently, I don't need to know about that. As long as they're not all dead, let's move on. Hearing this, the Bandit Kings felt a chill in their hearts. At this moment, only then did they truly realize that they were merely tools that Chu Kuangren was using to exact his revenge on Purple Star. Their deaths were nothing to Chu Kuangren, and he did not even bother to put on an act. I know all of you are dissatisfied, hate me, and blame me, but none of that matters. I just want to destroy the Purple Star Civilization, and all of you want the wealth of the Purple Star Civilization, right? I have the ability to help you achieve this. That is all you need to know. Chu Kuangren said indifferently. But young master, if this goes on, most of our people will be dead by the time we reach the Purple Star Civilization. How are we supposed to fight against the Purple Star Civilization then? Frenzied Sand Bandit King took a deep breath and said, I've said that you don't need to worry about that. Just do as I say, Chu Kuangren said. All right then. No matter how dissatisfied the Bandit Kings were, there was no turning back now. The disordered galaxy's bandits were all greedy to the core, and they had long been hooked by the Purple Star Civilization's wealth. Especially after witnessing Chu Kuangren's powerful strength, they saw the possibility of achieving that goal. Now, it was basically impossible for them to turn back and return to the disordered galaxy. The bandit army continued to move forward. The third stronghold. The fourth stronghold. The fifth stronghold. Before the eighth stronghold, the bandit army that Chu Kuangren led had lost more than 20% of its members. The closer they got to the Purple Star Civilization, the stronger the resistance they encountered. Even the Heavenly Dao Masters had joined the battle. The forces of the Purple Gold Galaxy understood that it would be extremely difficult for the bandit army to break through the 18 lines of defense and reach the Purple Star Civilization. They would have to lose more than 90% of their forces to succeed. Using less than 10% of their forces to fight against the entire Purple Star Civilization? It was impossible no matter how they thought about it. The Windy Sky Bandit King and the others were getting anxious. After all, they were the ones who had lost their people in the series of battles. However, they dared not disobey Chu Kuangren. After a huge battle, the bandit army was resting. Chu Kuangren looked into the distant starry sky and murmured, "This distance should be enough. Let's begin then." Begin? Begin what? The few thief kings were somewhat puzzled. You guys wait here, Chu Kuangren said. Then, his figure flashed and disappeared on the spot. Not long after, he traveled a few light years and arrived above the Purple Star civilization. Then, with a thought, the originally calm space behind him began to shake violently, forming circles of ripples. Every strong cultivator in the Purple Star civilization sensed the incredibly powerful spatial fluctuations, and they all looked toward the outer domain. Their emperor's thoughts began to probe the source of the spatial fluctuations. What a powerful spatial fluctuation! Who is it? It's him. It's the poetic sword god, Chu Kuangren. How dare he come to the Purple Star civilization alone? Also, what is he doing? All the strong cultivators in the Purple Star civilization were shocked. Meanwhile, a few light years away, at the bandit army's location, after Chu Kuangren left, 2 rays of light flew out from the warship. It was 2 Chu Kuangrens. The Windy Sky Bandit King and the others were extremely shocked. No, it's a soul form. But why is Master's soul form here? And there are 2 of them too. What's going on? Everyone was confused. However, Chu Kuangren's Earth Soul and Human Soul did not explain much. My true self has begun to move. Then let us begin as well. The Earth Soul and Human Soul looked at each other. Then, they took out a silver-white round plate and tossed it into the air. The round plate radiated with a boundless brilliance. 9 circles rotated and turned into a 3-dimensional device, and a powerful spatial fluctuation quickly spread. It was the time-space mirror. The spatial fluctuation shrouded the starry sky, and circles of ripples appeared in the void, forming a huge spatial portal. Everyone, enter the portal, Chu Kuangren's Earth Soul said. The Windy Sky Bandit King and the others immediately understood. Everyone, enter the portal. On the other side, on the Purple Star civilization, countless strong cultivators came to the outer domain and stared at Chu Kuangren, especially the Purple Star Palace Lord, whose eyes were filled with cold, murderous intent. Chu Kuangren, how dare you come to the Purple Star civilization alone? You must have a death wish. Oh, alone? In that case, please open your eyes wide and take a good look. I'm not alone here. Chu Kuangren chuckled. Behind him, one warship after another emerged from the void. It was endless, as if there was no end to it. Soon, the sky above the Purple Star civilization was densely packed with hundreds of thousands of warships, as well as the ferocious bandits. After today, the Purple Star civilization will become history, Chu Kuangren said calmly. Chapter 908. One after another, warships appeared behind Chu Kuangren. Countless bandits shrouded the area, and everyone looked at the scene in shock. Chu Kuangren was originally alone in space, but now so many people had appeared out of thin air. How did he do it? Whoosh, 2 streams of light flew over and entered Chu Kuangren's body. The Earth Soul and Human Soul returned. The temporal mirror also returned to his body. A spatial technique. Ziwei Palace Lord stared at Chu Kuangren with a grim expression. She knew that Chu Kuangren had spatial techniques, but she did not expect him to use them to do something like this. It was unimaginable that he could move such a large number of warships and bandit troops across several light years. What cultivation realm was this guy at? That was everyone's question. However, they did not know that it was not an easy task to move so many warships and cultivators to the Purple Star realm. Even Chu Kuangren had to rely on the temporal mirror's help. Moreover, there was a distance restriction. That was why he had led the disordered astral ocean's people towards the Purple Star realm. He could only move them over when they had reached a certain distance. If his cultivation level was higher, the disordered astral ocean's bandits would not even need to leave the astral ocean. They could directly move from the astral ocean to the Purple Star realm without attacking a single fortress. Ziwei Palace Lord, it's time to settle the score between us today, Chu Kuangren said indifferently. His eyes flashed with a chilling intent. Ever since the Purple Star realm sent people to the Firmament Star to destroy it, there was no way he could reconcile with the Purple Star realm. It was either his death or the Purple Star realm's destruction. Brother Chu, how can you leave us out if you want to destroy the Purple Star realm? At that moment, a burst of laughter was heard. Not far away, a group of figures flew out. One of them was the mystic moon Taoist master. Behind him were Xianxia, the loose cultivator, and Tian, the lion ridge Taoist master, and the other Taoists who had helped Chu Kuangren before. "Brother Mystic Moon, why are you guys here?" Chu Kuangren was rather surprised. "The Purple Star Realm has hired the Black Blood Gang to assassinate us. We will not let this go so easily." The Mystic Moon Taoist master sneered. The other Tao lords looked at Hall Master Ziwei and the others with cold eyes. They had a grudge with Purple Star. "That's right, we've been in the vicinity for a long time. Originally, we wanted to see how many people fellow Taoist Chu brought. If there's no chance of victory, we won't interfere. If there's a lot of people, we'll give it a try." Yang Xiao chuckled. He glanced at the countless bandits behind Chu Kuangren with a look of admiration in his eyes. "Even if we were to stretch our imaginations to the max, we would never have thought that Brother Chu would be able to bring so many people with you. What a surprise. With so many people, it's time to fight Purple Star." "Huh? Come on. Purple Star, I'll settle the score with you for getting someone to assassinate me today." Everyone was excited. They rubbed their palms together and were full of fighting spirit. They couldn't wait to have a big fight. Hall Master Ziwei sneered. "If you want to destroy my Purple Star, let's see if you have the strength." Hall Master Ziwei then took out a token and tossed it into the air. That token then transformed into a dozen rays of light that shot towards various parts of Purple Star. Suddenly, waves of powerful auras erupted all over Purple Star. "Who dares to invade my Purple Star? Do you have a death wish?" Voices came one after another from Purple Star. Then more than a dozen figures flew over, and each of them was the Heavenly Tao Master. "Oh, so this is the hidden strength of Purple Star? It's indeed extraordinary," the Sacred Moon Tao Lord said solemnly. They knew better than anyone that the Heavenly Tao Master was hiding in Purple Star. The only question was this all they had? Today, it doesn't matter if it's Chu Kuangren, the Disordered Galaxy, or anyone else. Anyone who dares to invade Purple Star must die. Hall Master Ziwei said coldly. As soon as she finished, on Purple Star, streaks of light and battleships soared into the sky as the two armies faced off against each other, their swords drawn. Let's see who's going to die then." Chu Kuangren waved his hand. Instantly, the bandit army behind him charged towards the Purple Star army. At the same time, the Purple Star cultivators also charged towards them. Waves of violent energy exploded in the starry sky, and the energy beams fired by the battleship were also continuously fired out. The entire starry sky trembled violently. The great battle had begun. Prioritize killing Chu Kuangren. Soldiers against soldiers, generals against generals. The charge of the army was like two torrents crashing into each other. Meanwhile, the Heavenly Tao Masters had also found their respective opponents. The Purple Star Army had more than a dozen Heavenly Tao Masters, but Chu Kuangren had quite a number of them as well. The Sacred Moon Tao Lord, Xianxia, the Lunar Palace Lord, the three Pirate Lords, Chu Kuangren alone was facing 4 Heavenly Tao Masters. "Kid, you're so young and yet you're able to stir up so much trouble. If you're allowed to live, I'm afraid the Purple Star will be in grave danger in the future," a white-haired elder said coldly. The Emperor's chi on his body boiled as Taoist patterns circulated and gathered the surrounding starlight into a surging galaxy that charged towards Chu Kuangren. It was the Purple Star celestial technique, Galactic Apocalypse. The Purple Star is gone today. How can there be a future? Chu Kuangren stood still on the spot as he casually threw out a punch. The terrifying fist energy exploded and shattered the Milky Way into pieces. Then, he took a step forward and arrived before the white-haired elder. He clenched his fist and smashed it towards the elder's chest. This punch was ordinary and not exquisite at all. However, that ordinary punch made the elder's pupils dilate as he felt an unprecedented threat. Starlight Shield. The elder activated his Emperor's chi and formed a light shield. Boom. There was a loud explosion. That starlight shield was shattered by Chu Kuangren's punch and turned into specks of starlight that filled the sky. However, that punch was still as powerful as ever. It landed on the elder's arm and landed on his chest. The elder spat out a mouthful of blood as he was sent flying and smashed through several battleships. His body floated in the void with his right hand hanging limply. His chest had caved in, and his aura had weakened by half. He looked at Chu Kuangren with a horrified expression. What kind of monstrous strength is this? Chu Kuangren had injured him, the Sky Lord, with just one punch. If it were not for the starlight shield that blocked most of the attack, that punch would have killed him on the spot. This kind of physical strength, he had never heard of it before. I can't believe his strength has increased so much. Hull Lord Ziwei's pupils shrunk. The Mystic Moon Sect Master and the others were also shocked. Brother Chu's cultivation may not have changed much since the battle at the Mystic Moon Ancient City, but his strength has improved tremendously. His cultivation hasn't improved much, but his combat strength is unimaginably strong. How did he do it? No wonder he was able to tame these unruly bandits in the chaotic astral ocean. Chapter 909. This person's strength is not to be underestimated. A heavenly lord alone is no match for him. Get into formation. The other 3 heavenly lords who were fighting Chu Kuangren were shocked. Then, the Taoist patterns on their bodies activated and each of them took up a position, surrounding Chu Kuangren in a triangular formation. Oh, a formation? Aside from the Tao of cultivation, Chu Kuangren had also cultivated many other Taos. He was proficient in formations, alchemy, equipment refinement, and runes. He could tell what the 3 heavenly lords' formation was with just a glance. Heaven, earth, human, ternary formation. The 3 heavenly lords shouted in unison. The Taoist patterns on their bodies resonated with each other, forming an invisible force field in the void that completely enveloped Chu Kuangren. Even a peak heavenly lord would be suppressed by 2 realms in the ternary formation, let alone a heavenly lord like you. One of the heavenly lords sneered. Not far away, the Purple Star Heavenly Protector and Hall Master Ziwei smiled when they saw that. They looked at Chu Kuangren as if he was a turtle in a jar. I've experienced the power of the ternary formation before. When the 3 supreme elders cast it together, no one below the false immortal realm can stop it. Let's see how he's going to escape from this formation. The Divine Moon Tao Lord and the others frowned. Quick, go destroy the formation, Xianxia said. The others wanted to do the same, but they were stopped by the Purple Star Heavenly Lords. They did not even have a chance to escape. Take care of yourselves first. That's right. Do you think you have the time to worry about others? Today, not only Chu Kuangren, but all of you will die as well. Compared to the others, Chu Kuangren was much calmer inside the formation. He looked calm and did not feel like he was in danger at all. To him, this level was not even a problem at all. How could it be considered a dangerous situation? You think you can defeat me with this formation? You think too highly of yourselves, Chu Kuangren said. Let's try it then. One of the heavenly lords snorted. Chu Kuangren's nonchalant attitude annoyed him. Attack! The 3 heavenly lords attacked at the same time. With the help of the formation, not only could they suppress their enemy's strength, but they could also increase their own combat strength. The 3 of them activated their respective immortal arts. The starlight in the starry sky gathered towards them, forming 3 incomparably resplendent galaxies. A terrifying surge of energy erupted as 3 star rivers that carried majestic Taoist patterns and Emperor's Qi rushed towards Chu Kuangren. Chu Kuangren stood still and channeled his mind power. His Emperor's Qi and mind power swirled around him, forming an invisible vortex. The 3 star rivers were sucked into the vortex and gradually disintegrated. However, the formation was so powerful that the power of Chu Kuangren's attack was limited, and a portion of its power actually hit his body. The 3 heavenly law lords sneered when they saw this. So what if it's a supreme defensive move? Under the restriction of this ternary strange formation, how much power can your moves display? Die. 3 masters of the heavenly law plus the Emperor's Qi. The Milky Way's power became even more terrifying, and Chu Kuangren was shrouded in these 3 Milky Ways, so no one could see what was going on inside. However, everyone knew that in the Purple Gold Galaxy, not many people would be able to survive such an attack. Even Chu Kuangren would not be able to survive. I bet there's nothing left of this guy now. Hall Master Ziwei sneered with a hint of satisfaction on his face. It's all over now. That's right. The 3 heavenly law lords looked at each other. They believed that even a hollow immortal would be injured by their attack. Not to mention a great Taoist. He would definitely be dead. Over? You must be dreaming. At that moment, an indifferent voice suddenly resounded throughout the universe. When the starlight energy dissipated, everyone saw a peerless white-robed figure standing in the air within the ternary strange formation. Radiance swirled around him, making him look extremely transcendent. Chu Kuangren glanced at the 3 heavenly law lords and said calmly, "Is this all you've got? How disappointing." The 3 heavenly law lords widened their eyes. How is this possible? How did he manage to withstand our attack? And he's unharmed too. It was not only the 3 heavenly law lords who were in the formation. The other Purple Star Taoist masters could not help but gasp. The ternary strange formation formed by the 3 heavenly law lords was incredibly powerful. In the Purple Star Taoist sects records, they had never been defeated before. Yet now, they could not even hurt Chu Kuangren. How did you do it? One of the heavenly law lords could not help but ask. Is it that difficult? Chu Kuangren retorted. After all, his physical body had already reached the peak of the starlight immortal physique realm. An ordinary heavenly law lord would not even be able to hurt him. On top of that, he had the Dharma restoration technique and a heavenly Tao weapon as his defense. The 3 star rivers did not even break through his defenses. Even if they did, he still had the immortal body to protect him. It's impolite not to reciprocate. Take this attack from me, Chu Kuangren said. As his mind power circulated, a giant colorful rune appeared in the void. The rune then turned into 9 streams of dragon qi that entered Chu Kuangren's body, instantly increasing his aura. Then, the phoenix flames, Emperor's qi, Taoist qi, and Taoist marks appeared in the void one after another, turning into circles of purplish-red light. With a single thought, the heavens and earth perished. The void exploded. Under the impact of the purplish-red light, the Triuan strange formation shattered. Naturally, the 3 Taoists who were in the formation were the first to bear the brunt of the attack. They were hit by the purplish-red light and were blasted away with blood spewing from their mouths. One of the heavenly law lords took the brunt of the attack. His body could not take it anymore, and his physical body exploded into a bloody mist. Don't think this is the end. Chu Kuangren chuckled after breaking the formation. The next moment, his body disappeared and reappeared in front of the heavenly law lord who was blasted away. Then, the descendant self-sword was unsheathed. A purple sword ray sliced through the sky. The heavenly law lord, who was already heavily injured, was torn in half without any resistance. The second one. Chu Kuangren chuckled. As his mind power circulated, thousands of spiritual power weapons gathered and aimed at another heavenly law lord. The weapons rained down like a torrential downpour. Starlight shield. That person roared and gathered the starlight to form a shield. However, it was useless. The starlight shield shattered with a bang. The heavenly law lord was instantly shredded into a bloody mist. The third one. Chu Kuangren chuckled. Amethyst celestial sword slash. At that moment, the heavenly law lord, who was blasted away by Chu Kuangren's punch, raised his emperor's essence to its limit and unleashed a sword slash with all his might. The starlight in the sky condensed into a gigantic sword that slashed out with immense power. Let me show you what a sword is. Chu Kuangren held the descendant self-sword in his hand as his emperor's essence circulated. An emperor avatar was formed, and thousands of sword qi swirled in the avatar's palm before they formed into a domineering golden sword shadow. It was domineering and sharp. It was as if this sword was the only one in the world. It was the emperor's sword. The honorable emperor's sword art reigns supreme in this universe. When the 2 sword shadows collided, the starlight sword was shattered without any resistance. The sword shadow then landed on the heavenly law lord's body and instantly killed him. The fourth one, Chu Kuangren said. He stood proudly in his snow-white robe. He had broken the formation and killed the heavenly law lord. Everything happened in the blink of an eye. Chapter 9-10. The 4 heavenly Tao masters were killed in the blink of an eye. Everyone present was frightened. That was a heavenly Tao master. He was one of the most powerful cultivators in the purple gold galaxy, not some common cabbage. Yet he was killed just like that. This was simply too unimaginable. Palace Lord Ziwei, the Purple Star Heavenly Protector, and the others looked extremely serious. They looked at Chu Kuangren as if he was the greatest enemy they had ever met. Let my doppelganger fight with him. Hall Master Ziwei released several war puppets, and all of them were powerful existences at the level of a heavenly law master. Not only that, but Palace Lord Ziwei's Emperor's thoughts were also stored in these battle puppets, which were equivalent to his clones. As expected of the Purple Star sect, they even have heavenly Tao master battle puppets. The mystic Moon Taoist master and the others were amazed. However, they were not afraid. They could tell that Chu Kuangren's display of strength had given them a lot of confidence. The battle puppets were not afraid of death, and they were not much weaker than the heavenly Tao masters from before. Meanwhile, a pair of eagle-like eyes stared at Chu Kuangren from afar. It was a middle-aged man with a stocky build. He held a black longbow in his hand as he stood on an uninhabited star. Chu Kuangren, you are indeed powerful. But it's easier to dodge an open spear than a hidden arrow. Do you think you can dodge my hidden arrow? The middle-aged man was also a heavenly Tao master. However, compared to the other heavenly Tao masters, he was most proficient in archery and assassination. Hence, in the Purple Star sect's records, he was known as the Dark Arrow Taoist. The Dark Arrow Taoist pulled the bowstring, and a pitch-black arrow instantly formed, locking onto Chu Kuangren, who was fighting the battle puppet. Whoosh! The arrow pierced through the air and pierced into the void. That was right. This arrow actually disappeared into the void. It was a dark arrow. Only something that was difficult to detect was called a dark arrow. At that moment, Chu Kuangren, who was fighting the battle puppet, did not know that an arrow was flying towards him from tens of millions of kilometers away. When he sensed it, the arrow was less than a kilometer away from him. A kilometer was nothing to the dark arrow. It only took 1,000th of a blink of an eye. Oh, interesting. Chu Kuangren thought, and an invisible whirlpool formed around him. With a single thought, all techniques returned to nothingness. As soon as the vortex was formed, the dark arrow had already arrived. If Chu Kuangren had been a moment slower, he would have been hit by this arrow. Although it might not cause any harm to him, the feeling of being plotted against still made him feel very uncomfortable. Chu Kuangren stared coldly at the black arrow in the vortex. Since you want to play with bows and arrows, I'll play with you till the end. With a thought, the black arrow was shattered. Then, he threw a few punches in a row and sent the battle puppet flying. At the same time, he used his telekinesis to probe the direction of the arrow. However, there was no sign of the archer. Oh, I've changed places. But where do you think you can go? Chu Kuangren sneered. His psyche power spread and covered the entire battlefield, looking for traces of the archer. Next to him, a puppet fighter suddenly rushed up. Get lost. Chu Kuangren clenched his fist and unleashed his full physical strength. With a single punch, the battle puppet was instantly shattered into pieces. Found it. All of a sudden, Chu Kuangren narrowed his eyes and looked at an uninhabited planet tens of millions of kilometers away. A middle-aged man was aiming at him with a bow. Oh, I've been discovered. The Dark Arrow Taoist was a little surprised. I heard that this person knows how to use his telekinesis. It seems that his senses are very powerful. But so what? I'm tens of millions of kilometers away from him. Moreover, I'm separated by half of the battlefield. Even if he can sense me, what can he do to me? The Dark Arrow Taoist chuckled. That was his confidence as an archer. Long-range attacks were the specialty of archers. Wait a minute, what's he doing? Suddenly, the Dark Arrow Taoist was shocked. He saw Chu Kuangren raise his left hand and put it at the same level as his left. This action is... The Dark Arrow Taoist's pupils dilated. He was very familiar with that action. That was the action of shooting an arrow. A purplish-red longbow appeared in Chu Kuangren's hand. Taoist patterns flowed on the bow, and one could tell that it was no ordinary item. At the very least, the Dark Arrow Taoist felt that the bow in his hand was far inferior to his opponent's. Does he know archery too? Then, he sensed an incredibly powerful immortal technique fluctuation from Chu Kuangren's body. This is, the Dark Arrow Taoist's heart skipped a beat. He suddenly had a very bad feeling. 4 Divine Sun Archers, Vermilion Bird. Buzz, the bowstring was released, and a purplish-red arrow pierced through the air. In the blink of an eye, it crossed the battlefield and flew towards the Dark Arrow Taoist. Not good. The Dark Arrow Taoist's pupils shrank when he sensed the power of that arrow. He wanted to escape immediately. However, that arrow suddenly turned into a purplish-red vermilion bird. The vermilion bird's wings circled, and thousands of fiery feathers turned into thousands of arrows that surrounded him, sealing off his path of retreat. ***, that's the Li family's 4 Divine Sun Archers. How does Chu Kuangren know such an archery technique? He had long heard of the Li family's 4 Divine Sun Archers and had seen it before, but he did not expect Chu Kuangren to know it too. Moreover, Chu Kuangren was better than anyone else from the Li family. 4 Divine Sun Archers, Azure Dragon. The vermilion bird arrow sealed off the Dark Arrow Taoist's path of retreat. Following that, the Azure Dragon also pierced through the air and transformed into a ferocious Azure Dragon. Faced with such a powerful attack, the Dark Arrow Taoist drew his bowstring and performed an immortal archery technique as well. Dark Arrow, Falling Moon. The arrow pierced through the air, bringing with it a chilling aura. It collided with the Azure Dragon, and the void instantly exploded. 4 Divine Sun Archers, White Tiger. However, before the Dark Arrow Taoist could react, another arrow pierced through the air. A ferocious white tiger roared as it crossed the battlefield. This time, the Dark Arrow Taoist could not defend himself in time and was blasted away by the white tiger arrow. His body exploded on the spot. Chu Kuangren killed a Sky Dao Master with 3 arrows from tens of millions of miles away. The first arrow sealed off his opponent's path of retreat, the second arrow destroyed his opponent's resistance, and the third arrow annihilated him. Everyone was dumbfounded by what they saw. They had never heard that Chu Kuangren knew archery as well. Just how many more trump cards does this guy have up his sleeves? What a terrifying archery technique. That bow of his is no ordinary heavenly Dao weapon either. Especially that string, it gives me a palpitating feeling. That's an immortal tendon. He's too powerful. He's just too powerful. Just how many more trump cards does Chu Kuangren have up his sleeves? Everyone stared at Chu Kuangren with shock in their eyes. A powerful enemy was no doubt terrifying, but a powerful enemy whose trump cards could never be seen was even more despairing. And Chu Kuangren was such an enemy. Even Palace Lord Ziwei could not help but feel a little fearful against such an existence. However, since things had come to this, there was no turning back for her and Chu Kuangren. Now, all she wanted to do was to destroy Chu Kuangren. Chu Kuangren, you shall die today. Palace Lord Ziwei took a step forward and unleashed the Peak Sky Dao Master's aura. The strongest Taoist at the scene immediately faced Chu Kuangren. Chapter 9-11. Palace Lord Ziwei had personally made a move to suppress Chu Kuangren. The Lord of the Heavenly Dao's pinnacle battle prowess was completely unleashed. He took a step forward and arrived in front of Chu Kuangren. As he lifted his arm, streaks of dazzling Milky Way swirled around and smashed towards Chu Kuangren. Every Star River was powerful enough to kill a late-stage Heavenly Dao Lord, and Hall Master Ziwei was currently controlling tens to hundreds of Star River. It could be seen how high Hall Master Ziwei's cultivation was. Even if he couldn't compare to a pseudo-immortal, he wasn't far from it. Chu Kuangren looked at the incoming Milky Way and activated his Starlight Immortal physique to its limit as he punched out with both his fists. Fist shadows appeared one after another, and the force shattered the starry sky. The star rivers exploded one after another. Extreme galaxy hand of destruction. Hall Mistress Ziwei grabbed out fiercely, and starlight condensed into a huge palm. It pushed out horizontally with terrifying power. Seal of proof. 2 rays of light shot out from Chu Kuangren's body. 2 mystical talismans immediately floated above his head. Then, the Descendant Self-Sword appeared in his hand and he slashed out with it. The fluctuations of the Reverend Emperor's sword art erupted. Under the enhancement of the Seal of Proof, the power of the golden sword shadows multiplied. Boom! The sword shadow and the giant palm collided with each other, and then both exploded. Chu Kuangren and Hall Master Ziwei were both pushed back a few meters. Purple Star Divine Eyes. Hall Master Ziwei snorted coldly, and a brilliant purple light bloomed in her eyes. This was Purple Star's most powerful immortal art. A beam of purple light shot out from Hall Master Ziwei's eyes. The beam of light pierced through the void. Chu Kuangren snorted coldly as he pushed his physical strength to its limit. With his Emperor's chi and mind power circulating, he activated the Honorable Emperor's sword art once again. This time, the power was even more tyrannical. The purple light beam was forcibly shattered by this sword. Hall Master Ziwei's pupils shrank as she was sent flying by this sword. His battle prowess is actually above mine? How is this possible? Hall Master Ziwei was extremely shocked. The Purple Star cultivators were shocked as well. The invincible palace master in their hearts was no match for Chu Kuangren. How could they accept this? Hall Master Ziwei, you really disappoint me. Chu Kuangren said indifferently. He took a step forward while 2 Dharma verification seals appeared above his head, and the might of his Tao art was peerlessly vast as it charged madly at everything in the surroundings. He raised his hand and slashed out again. The golden sword light tore through the void, and the domineering sword pressure completely locked onto Hall Master Ziwei. Starlight Shield. Hall Master Ziwei activated a defensive technique. The surrounding starlight formed a total of 7 starlight shields in front of him. Bang bang bang. 7 consecutive explosions rang out. The 7 shields shattered one by one. Hall Master Ziwei was struck by the sword chi and was sent flying. If we continue to fight, will I die? Hall Master Ziwei said in disbelief. In the purple gold galaxy, other than hollow immortals, there had never been anyone who could force him to this state, let alone a celestial seed. At this moment, a furious roar came from within the purple star. Following that, a purple golden coffin flew out and charged towards Chu Kuangren with a violent force. This aura is... Chu Kuangren narrowed his eyes and struck out with his sword. The sword shadow collided with the coffin, and the surrounding void suddenly collapsed. Chu Kuangren retreated a few dozen feet and looked at the purple golden coffin with narrowed eyes. This aura, it's a hollow immortal. A hollow immortal's strength surpassed the Sky Dao Masters, but due to various limitations, they were destined to not become immortals. The hollow immortal has made his move. What a powerful aura. Is this the power of a hollow immortal? Everyone looked at the coffin with a solemn gaze. A hollow immortal was hiding within the purple star. Everyone was already mentally prepared for this. However, they were not completely unprepared. Old Curmudgeon Ku, our last battle ended in a draw. Why don't we continue today? A cold voice came from outside the purple star. A white ray of light flew towards them. As if it sensed something, the purple golden coffin suddenly exploded. Then a gray-robed elder walked out from it. That white ray of light arrived in front of everyone and turned into a white-haired elder in a white robe. This person was the hollow immortal of mortal heaven. The hollow immortal of mortal heaven appeared, and his terrifying aura swept out and locked onto the hollow immortal that came out from the coffin, which was Old Curmudgeon Ku. When the 2 hollow immortals met again, a battle was about to break out. Hollow immortal of mortal heaven. Old Curmudgeon Ku's expression was solemn. Previously, when the purple star sent people to surround Chu Kuangren, he was responsible for holding the hollow immortal of mortal heaven back. But now, the situation was reversed. Chu Kuangren led his people to attack the purple star, and the hollow immortal of mortal heaven was holding him back. What a reversal of fortune. Let's fight! Old Curmudgeon Ku shouted and then charged towards the hollow immortal of mortal heaven. Once again, the two hollow immortals clashed, and their auras shook the heavens and earth. Meanwhile, Chu Kuangren looked at Palace Lord Ziwei coldly. He closed in step by step. Wherever he went, sword chi and Taoist patterns intertwined and collided. All the purple star cultivators who wanted to stop him were easily killed. The disordered star ocean, the black blood gang, the mystic moon ancient city, and the hollow immortal of mortal heaven. Chu Kuangren, I really didn't expect you to gather so many forces. You've truly shocked me. If I could do it all over again, even if the purple star immortal seed dies, I wouldn't go looking for trouble with you. Instead, I would recruit you. Palace Lord Ziwei sighed. However, Chu Kuangren ignored him. Unfortunately, it's all too late. It's useless to say anything. He gathered his spiritual power weapons and aimed them at Palace Lord Ziwei. Is that so? A cold voice was heard. Immediately after, a dazzling star shield appeared in front of Hall Master Ziwei, blocking the thousands of spirit chi weapons. Oh, this aura is also the power of a hollow immortal? Chu Kuangren was a little surprised. A black figure dashed out from the purple star. It was a man in black armor, and his aura was extremely powerful, far beyond the realm of a normal heavenly lord. He was also a hollow immortal. What? There's a second hollow immortal hiding in the purple star? How's that possible? The mystic moon Taoist master and the others were shocked. Hollow immortals were very rare. Although they could not become immortals, most of them could understand the origin energy and combine it with the Emperor's essence. That was why they could unleash combat strength that far exceeded that of a normal heavenly lord. There were not many hollow immortals in the entire purple gold galaxy. All along, there had only been one hollow immortal in the purple star galaxy. Now, there was another one. Do you think that's all? Palace Lord Ziwei sneered. The purple star galaxy shook violently. A furious roar came from the purple star galaxy and echoed throughout the universe. A majestic lion with golden fur leaped into the sky, and its golden eyes swept across the crowd. The hollow immortal's power that was completely different from the hollow immortal Xianxia and the others shocked everyone. That was also a hollow immortal beast cultivator. How dare you offend the purple star galaxy? Your sins are unforgivable. The golden lion said coldly. The mystic moon Taoist master, Xianxia, and the others gulped in shock. There were 3 hollow immortals in the purple star galaxy. D*MN, we've underestimated the purple star galaxy. To be able to stand at the top of the galaxy for so long, their hidden strength is too terrifying. They have 3 hollow immortals. I'm afraid we're in trouble now. Chapter 9:12. Chu Kuangren, I've said it before. It doesn't matter if it's you or the Chaos Star Ocean or the Mystic Moon Taoist Master. None of you will escape death today. Hall Master Ziwei guffawed. Following that, an extremely tyrannical aura suddenly erupted from his body. When everyone sensed this aura, their expressions changed slightly. This aura was like heavenly might. That's Violet Star Heavenly Tao. Hall Master Ziwei is the Lord of Purple Star. He is now using the power of the Heavenly Tao. His combat prowess is probably no weaker than a hollow immortal. 2 void immortals and Hall Master Ziwei in her Tao integration state. This was the true heritage of Purple Star. In the face of this power, even void immortal Xianxia, who was fighting against old monster Ku in the distance, could not help but feel serious. Far away, a man in a golden robe looked at the purple star battlefield in the distance and shook his head slightly. The purple star and my Venus are the 2 rulers of the purple gold galaxy. Their heritage is beyond your imagination. There was also more than one void immortal on Venus. As the master of Venus, the man had some understanding of the purple star, one of the 2 great immortal law civilizations in the purple gold galaxy. Hence, from the very beginning, he did not think highly of Chu Kuangren and the others. He thought that they were just digging their own graves. Palace Master, why don't we help? A young man next to the man said. Why are you helping him? The golden-robed man smirked. Let them fight. Although it'll be extremely difficult for Chu Kuangren and the others to destroy the Purple Star sect, it'll still be enough to make the Purple Star sect suffer. Isn't it better for us to sit back and reap the benefits? The young man nodded slightly. Besides, if Chu Kuangren dies in this battle, then you'll be the Purple Gold Galaxy's #1 immortal seed, the golden-robed man added. Upon hearing that, the young man was a little surprised. He then looked at Chu Kuangren from afar with an inexplicable glint in his eyes. His eyes were filled with jealousy, shock, and admiration. It's fine if I don't get the title of #1 immortal seed just like that. Purple Star Battlefield. The two Void Immortals and Hall Master Ziwei in her Dao unification state brought great encouragement to the Purple Star cultivators, greatly boosting their morale. Kill all these bandits. Trivial bandits dare come to my Purple Star and court death? Instead of staying in the chaotic Star Sea, you actually dare to covet my Purple Star. You really don't know the difference between life and death. Die for me. The Purple Star cultivators fought back. The bandits of the chaotic Astral Sea were immediately suppressed. He Chu Kuangren, your people won't last much longer. Hall Master Ziwei sneered. My men? Chu Kuangren chuckled. It's just a bunch of bandits. No matter how many you kill, it doesn't matter to me. As long as I want to, I can find a second or even a third disordered astral ocean. But you guys are different. Those who died were all Purple Star cultivators, and it was Purple Star's warship that was destroyed. Do you feel any heartache? His words were like a sharp blade that stabbed into the hearts of Hall Master Ziwei and the others, causing their faces to turn ashen. Chu Kuangren was right. No matter how many bandits he killed, it didn't matter to him. It was originally a tool for him to use for revenge. However, it was different for the Purple Star cultivators. Those who died were all Purple Star cultivators, and the loss of Purple Star's warship was real. Chu Kuangren, you're playing with so many lives just to take revenge on my Purple Star. You're too shameless. Hall Master Ziwei said in a low voice. You should have known this day would come when you sent people to attack my Firmament Star. Chu Kuangren yelled. Once I kill you, I'll send more people to destroy Firmament Star. Hall Master Ziwei said coldly. What's the point of saying so much? That the black-armored Purple Star Virtual Immortal said coldly. He raised the spear in his hand and stabbed it towards Chu Kuangren. Boundless spear force erupted in an instant. It was vast and mighty like a flood, its might shattering the entire void. The Virtual Immortal's strength was unparalleled. Chu Kuangren dared not let his guard down. He channeled his Emperor's Qi and mind power at the same time, activating his invincible technique, and the Cosmos Reversal technique erupted. Boom! Along with the violent collision, Chu Kuangren was pushed back a few dozen feet. However, with his strong physical body, that attack did not cause any damage to him. Seeing that, the spear-wielding Virtual Immortal was a little shocked. A great Taoist master can withstand an attack from a Virtual Immortal? Where did this monster come from? We can't let this kid live. Beside him, the Golden Lion Virtual Immortal could not help but be shocked as well. With a murderous intent in his eyes, he let out a roar, and the sound waves that seemed to materialize spread out. The sound waves shattered the void and surged towards Chu Kuangren. Some cultivators along the way were blasted into a mist of blood by the sound waves. Chu Kuangren snorted and stood proudly. The sound waves did not affect his physical body at all. Good one. The Golden Lion Virtual Immortal transformed into a muscular man. He looked at Chu Kuangren with a glint in his eyes, and his demonic qi and origin energy circulated around his body, combining to form a powerful Virtual Immortal's strength. Try taking another attack from me. Golden Lion's raging flame fist. He unleashed a punch, and the golden flames turned into the shadow of a lion that charged out. Chu Kuangren did not retreat, and instead, he unleashed a punch of his own. With a loud explosion, the surrounding area exploded. Just when Chu Kuangren was sent flying again, Palace Lord Ziwei seized the opportunity to activate her immortal technique and unleashed a powerful attack. A dazzling galaxy swept across the void and landed on Chu Kuangren. Amidst the explosion, Chu Kuangren was sent flying and crashed into a battleship. That battleship suddenly exploded, and sparks flew everywhere. This is bad. Brother Chu is no match for the three of them. One virtual immortal is already difficult enough to deal with, let alone three virtual immortals. No matter how strong Brother Chu is, he won't be able to withstand it. If this goes on, he'll definitely die. The Sacred Moon Taoist Master and the others were anxious. However, they were occupied by their respective opponents and could not provide support. Even if they could, how could they fight against the virtual immortals? We've underestimated the combat strength of the Purple Star Civilization. It's not that easy to destroy the Purple Star Civilization. Let's retreat. That's what I was thinking. Some of them were already thinking of retreating. However, the Purple Star cultivators would not let them leave so easily. Beams of light erupted around the battlefield, forming a giant light barrier that covered a radius of 10 million kilometers, enveloping everyone within it. What's this? Oh no, it's the Purple Star trapping formation. They've set up a trapping formation. Now it's going to be a problem for us to escape. What should we do now? The Sacred Moon Taoist Master and the others looked extremely solemn. Boom! At that moment, a powerful burst of energy erupted from afar. Chu Kuangren slowly walked out from the destroyed battleship. His snow-white robe was unscathed. Upon seeing that, Palace Master Ziwei, the spear-wielding virtual immortal, and the Golden Lion illusionary immortal narrowed their eyes in disbelief. What's this person's physical body made of? His strength is no match for ours. So what if his physical body is strong? Dripping water can wear through a rock. I don't believe we can't destroy him. Palace Master Ziwei said viciously. Oh, his strength is no match for yours? Where did you get the confidence to say that? Chu Kuangren said indifferently. Then, an origin energy gushed out from his body. Lunar Radiance Origin. Origin energy? He's gained enlightenment on the origin. The spear-wielding virtual immortal was shocked. One origin energy won't change anything. One origin energy. Chu Kuangren chuckled. Then, the flame origin energy, the devour origin energy, the immortal origin energy, the frost origin energy, the physical origin energy. 6 origin energies surged out and circled around Chu Kuangren's body. Its power shook the heavens, and the heavenly radiance of the origin energy shone on him, making him look like a supreme immortal king. Chapter 9:13. Silence. The entire Purple Star battlefield was dead silent. Everyone was dumbfounded as they looked at Chu Kuangren, who was surrounded by 6 origin energies and was glowing like a supreme immortal king. Origin energies? 6 different elemental origin energies at that. What was going on with this person? How did he come to understand such power? Everyone was baffled. This was especially true for the Hollow Immortals. When they looked at Chu Kuangren, their hearts were no longer filled with shock. They were completely dumbfounded. They knew how difficult it was to understand the origin energies. Even a Hollow Immortal had to put in a lot of effort just to understand one of them. How old was Chu Kuangren? He had 6 different elemental origin energies. What kind of Tao did he walk? Did you guys just say that my power is weaker than yours? What about now? Chu Kuangren had 2 Dharma testimony seals above his head and 6 origin energies surrounding him. His power was so strong that it shook the entire starry sky. He raised the Descendant Self-Sword in his hand and slashed. Amidst the explosion, a terrifying purple sword ray exploded. It shattered the starry sky and slashed towards the spear-wielding Hollow Immortal. Block it! The spear-wielding Hollow Immortal roared and waved his spear. His spear chi swirled like a tornado, condensing the surrounding starlight before it exploded. When the 2 energies collided, the spear-wielding Hollow Immortal's expression changed drastically. He spat out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying. How powerful! The spear-wielding Hollow Immortal's expression was extremely solemn. Purple Star Divine Gaze. Star Flame Lion. The Golden Lion Hollow Immortal and Palace Lord Ziwei activated their Taoist patterns at the same time. One of them had purple light circulating in his eyes before a beam of light shot out. The other let out a long roar, and golden flames shot into the sky. Combined with the starlight, it turned into the silhouette of a mighty and domineering giant lion. The two energies collided towards Chu Kuangren from both sides. Chu Kuangren's eyes turned cold when he saw that. With a lift of his arm, a majestic emperor's chi merged with the 6 origin energies. Invincible technique, universal domination. With a punch, the invincible technique shattered the purple beam of light and the star flame lion. Palace Lord Ziwei and the Golden Lion Hollow Immortal were forced back. Again. The three of them wanted to fight again. However, Chu Kuangren's aura was still growing stronger. Vaguely, there was a wave of heavenly might. That was the power of the heavenly Tao. Do you think this is my limit? Chu Kuangren said indifferently. Tao integration stage, activate. Chu Kuangren's combat strength had increased tremendously in his Taoist unification state. His mighty aura swept across the entire purple star battlefield. Everyone was so shocked that they were speechless. That power was too terrifying. How can his heavenly energy be so powerful? Hall Master Ziwei swallowed her saliva and said in disbelief. He was also a starry lord who possessed the purple star heavenly Tao. However, why did he feel that his heavenly Tao energy was not as good as Chu Kuangren's? Was the firmament star's heavenly axiom this powerful? After Master devoured the Sirius star's heavenly Tao, his heavenly Tao power became even more terrifying, the Black Blood Hall Master said in shock. He knew of the art of seizing the heavens. However, most of the art of seizing the heavens required a long period of preparation, and sometimes even required the power of civilization to carry it out. It was his first time encountering someone like Chu Kuangren, who used a starry lord as a medium to devour the heavenly Tao. Is this the true power of the poetic sword sage? His aura is too terrifying. From afar, the golden-robed man who was secretly watching the battle could not help but be shocked. The poetic sword sage is truly a monster. Beside him, the young man could not help but be horrified. He looked at Chu Kuangren and could not help but feel a huge, unprecedented sense of defeat. Was this guy an immortal seed like him? What a joke! How could there be such a terrifying immortal seed? With the 6 Taos of origin energy and heavenly energy, Chu Kuangren was unbelievably powerful. His every move could shake the entire universe. He looked calmly at the 3 starry lords. The purple star galaxy has stood tall in the purple gold galaxy for many years. Do you think I don't know that? Do you think I would come here without any support? Do you think that the disordered galaxy is my only support? You're wrong. I've already said that the disordered galaxy is just my tool. My only support has always been myself. He took a step forward and appeared in front of the 3 starry lords in the blink of an eye. With a lift of his arm, an infinite amount of power instantly erupted. He threw out a punch. The spear-wielding illusory immortal roared and blocked the attack with his spear. The punch landed on the spear and forcefully bent the spear. Boom! The spear-wielding illusory immortal was sent flying by the punch. His arms trembled violently, and the web between his thumb and forefinger was torn, causing blood to spurt out. Not far away, the Golden Lion illusory immortal reverted to his true form. He opened his arms and bit at Chu Kuangren. Little kitty, don't yell like a ghost here. Scram! Chu Kuangren raised his arm and activated his invincible technique. The terrifying energy blasted onto the Golden Lion illusory immortal and sent him flying. Then, his gaze landed on Palace Lord Ziwei. Under his gaze, Palace Lord Ziwei could not help but tremble as an uncontrollable fear rose within her. How could there be such a terrifying person in this world? Chu Kuangren activated his immortal technique. Frosty Qi, flames, and Emperor's Qi turned into a purplish-red light wave that struck Palace Lord Ziwei, severely injuring her in the blink of an eye. Heaven-devouring divine Taoist art. In the next instant, Chu Kuangren appeared in front of Palace Lord Ziwei and reached out to grab her. With a single thought, he activated the heaven-devouring technique. In an instant, the heavenly Tao energy within her body gushed out like a torrent towards Chu Kuangren. At that moment, the entire Purple Star realm trembled. All the Purple Star cultivators who were fighting also seemed to feel something, and an inexplicable sense of panic welled up in their hearts. He's devouring the heavenly Tao. He's devouring the heavenly Tao. The spear-wielding illusory immortal was terrified. Not far away, Old Man Ku wanted to go back and stop Chu Kuangren, but he was held back by the Dust Sky illusionary immortal. Chu Kuangren, stop. The spear-wielding illusory immortal roared and hurled his spear at Chu Kuangren. It turned into a stream of light and shot towards Chu Kuangren. Chu Kuangren snorted. He channeled his thoughts and Emperor's Qi to form an invisible whirlpool around him, blocking the attack. How can this be? How can he devour the heavenly Tao? What kind of technique is this? All the Purple Star realm cultivators shuddered. At that moment, amidst the turbulent winds and clouds, a gigantic blood-colored eye suddenly appeared in the sky. It was the Eye of Heavenly Punishment. The Purple Star Heavenly Tao had retaliated. When the Eye of Heavenly Punishment appeared, bolts of thick blood-colored lightning struck towards Chu Kuangren. It was even stronger than the serious Heavenly Tao. Each bolt of lightning contained enough power to kill a Heavenly Tao master. However, Chu Kuangren was no longer the same Chu Kuangren who was on the Sirius star. With a single thought, a purplish-red light wave spread out with him as the center, blocking off the bolts of blood-colored lightning. Be obedient and let yourself be devoured. Chu Kuangren raised his descendant self-sword, and the Emperor Avatar appeared behind him. A golden sword shadow that was infused with the 6 origin energies slashed out with the help of the technique attestation seal and the heavenly Tao energy. Accompanied by a loud bang, the blood-colored Eye of Heavenly Punishment was shattered by that sword attack. In a trance, everyone seemed to hear a heart-wrenching, soul-piercing scream. That was the heavenly Tao's scream. Chapter 9:14. On the Purple Star battlefield, Chu Kuangren single-handedly defeated 3 false immortals in a short period of time. At the same time, he began to devour the Purple Star Heavenly Tao. The Eye of Heavenly Punishment appeared, but it was destroyed by his sword. His actions made one's scalp go numb. The strength of the opponent's battle prowess had completely exceeded their imagination. "It's over," a Purple Star cultivator couldn't help whispering. "Fight it out with them," a Purple Star cultivator said angrily. They could not retreat. Behind them was the entire Purple Star, just like how the Firmament Star had stopped the Blood Origin Star from invading in the past. Now, Purple Star had to stop the bandits of the chaotic astral ocean. The battle continued, but the result was more or less decided. As the Purple Star Heavenly Tao continued to be devoured, the Firmament Star Heavenly Tao continued to grow stronger. The Heavenly Tao within Chu Kuangren's body was also getting stronger. Bastard! Our Purple Star civilization has dominated the Purple Gold Galaxy for 71 eras, but we have never encountered such a calamity. Chu Kuangren, even if I die, I'll drag you down with me. The spear-wielding Void Immortal's expression was filled with grief and indignation. Purple flames ignited on his body. He was actually burning his life force to forcibly increase his strength. The spear-wielding illusory immortal let out a loud roar. Then, his figure turned into a stream of light, and it was as if he and his spear had become one as he shot towards Chu Kuangren. This strike was a strike that a false immortal could use with his life on the line. In this Purple Gold Galaxy, no one would be able to stop him. Burning his life force? Very good. Chu Kuangren took out the Purple Fairy Bow and pulled the bowstring. At the same time, the energy on his body began to rise rapidly. A blood-red arrow condensed on the bowstring. Li family's forbidden technique, Blood Essence Condensing Arrow. Chu Kuangren had seen Li Xuyin use this technique before, and she was able to kill a great Taoist master by leaps and bounds despite being an entire realm higher than her. Therefore, other than the 4 symbols shooting sun arrow, He also wanted to learn the Li clan's forbidden technique. I can't believe Chu Kuangren is also depleting his life energy. This guy, does he want to die? Lunatics, two lunatics. Everyone was shocked as they stared at Chu Kuangren. A powerful wave of immortal technique erupted from Chu Kuangren's body as he swiftly drew his bow and shot out 4 arrows. Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, Black Tortoise. The 4 divine beasts' arrows pierced through the air and landed on the spear-wielding illusory immortal's body. Each arrow was condensed from Chu Kuangren's life energy, and its power was so powerful that even an illusory immortal would find it hard to defend against it. Boom! Accompanied by a burst of blood mist. The void immortal wielding the spear had fallen. The spear was also swept away and stabbed into an uninhabited star. It was covered with cracks and looked like it would shatter at any moment. Chu Kuangren put away the purple fairy bow. After using his life force to shoot the 4 symbols sun-shooting arrow, his life force was almost exhausted. His black hair had turned white. Seeing this, everyone could not help but feel pity. Too stupid, too stupid. He actually used this kind of method that consumes his life force and destroys his own future just for a moment of impulse. Sigh, he should have a bright future ahead of him. But now, forget about becoming an immortal, he probably won't be able to live for more than a few years. What a pity! Fellow Taoist Chu, some felt that it was a pity while others scoffed. There were also people who were heartbroken. But in the next instant, something that astonished everyone happened. In the blink of an eye, Chu Kuangren's white hair had returned to its original black color, and his originally dispirited life force had once again become vigorous. The condensed blood arrow might be a self-destructive move to others, but unfortunately, it's no different from an ordinary move to me. Chu Kuangren chuckled. Self-destructing his own life force? Impossible. He had the immortal body. As long as his life force was not completely depleted in an instant, he would automatically recover in the next instant. Everyone looked at Chu Kuangren with their mouths agape. He can recover so quickly even after destroying his own life force? What the hell? What kind of technique is this? How many more techniques does this guy have? That was the question that popped up in everyone's mind. Chu Kuangren's successive trump cards had already confused them. Chu Kuangren's abilities were like a bottomless pit with no end in sight. Alright, you're useless now anyway. Chu Kuangren looked at Hall Master Ziwei, whose heavenly energy had been sucked dry, and sneered. He then raised his sword and ended her life. In a flash, he appeared in front of the illusory golden lion. Spare. Before the illusory golden lion could finish his sentence, Chu Kuangren's sword had already landed on him, and the sword chi had already torn him apart. Illusory golden lion, there's only one left. Chu Kuangren looked at Curmudgeon Ku, who was fighting against the illusory golden lion. The latter trembled in fear when Chu Kuangren looked at him. He had already lost his will to fight, and all he wanted to do was to escape. However, how could the illusory golden lion let him do as he pleased? Trying to escape? How naive! The illusory golden lion laughed. Golden chains then emerged from his body and intertwined with each other, forming a huge enchanted boundary. Curmudgeon Ku was sealed in the enchanted boundary and could not escape. After a fierce battle, the illusory golden lion finally gained the upper hand and killed Curmudgeon Ku within the enchanted boundary. The illusory golden lion is dead. The Purple Star Civilization is finished. Robbed the Purple Star Civilization clean. Master Chu, well done. Countless bandits laughed and charged towards the Purple Star cultivators. After the deaths of Hall Master Ziwei and the others, not only did the Purple Star cultivators not retreat, but they also had a strong will to live. They even risked their lives to protect the Purple Star Civilization. Chu Kuangren was not surprised to see that. He was even more unfazed by the deaths of countless bandits. After all, they were just tools for him to take revenge. No matter how the Purple Star Civilization fought back, the outcome was already determined. The battle lasted for almost 10 days. The sounds of battle never stopped for a moment in the outer domain. With the fall of the last Tao Lord of the Purple Star Civilization, The Purple Star civilization was at its end. The remaining bandits rushed into the Purple Star civilization to plunder it. It was a disaster for a civilization. And the number of casualties in this disaster was uncountable. 100 million? A billion? 10 billion? Maybe more than that. Even the mystic Moon Dao Lord and Xianxia could not help but be moved when they saw the disaster that befell the Purple Star civilization. However, Chu Kuangren remained calm, as if he did not care at all. That made everyone speechless. How indestructible must this person's Taoist core be to be able to remain unmoved after witnessing such a disaster? That made them even more fearful of Chu Kuangren. Talent, strength, Taoist core, all of them were impeccable. If such a person did not stand at the peak, it would be unconscionable. What a disaster for a civilization. At that moment, an emotional voice was heard. Not far away, a golden-robed man and a young man were walking in the air. They looked at the Purple Star civilization with an emotional gaze. Chu Kuangren glanced at them and recognized who they were. He said indifferently, "Golden Star King, what are you doing here?" His gaze swept behind the Golden Star King. From afar, he saw hundreds of thousands of battleships and could not help but chuckle. "So you're here to reap the benefits." The Golden Star King laughed awkwardly when he heard that. Initially, he did have that idea, but after witnessing Chu Kuangren's strength, he no longer dared to think that way. Chapter 9:15. I see, so you're here to reap the benefits. Chu Kuangren chuckled. The Golden Star Lord laughed awkwardly and said, "Brother Chu, you've misunderstood. I'm just here to see if there's anything I can help with." Everyone rolled their eyes. What a shameless thing to say. Just to see if there's anything I can help with? I didn't see you guys when the battle was in full swing. Now that it's over, you guys only come out now. Isn't that just trying to reap the benefits from the battle? If not for Chu Kuangren's strength, the Golden Star Lord's warships would have already locked onto them. Golden Star Lord, you sure are shameless. Chu Kuangren said calmly. The Golden Star Lord did not say anything as he looked at the Purple Star Lord. Billions of living beings have perished because of a single thought from you. From now on, the Purple Star civilization will become history. Brother Chu, your methods are truly extraordinary. What, are you going to criticize me? Heh, in this universe, there are civilizations dying at every moment. It's just that most of them are nameless. However, the Purple Star civilization is no different from them, so why would I criticize you? Cut the crap and get straight to the point. Chu Kuangren said. I'm here to make a deal with you, Brother Chu. I want all the immortal techniques of the Purple Star civilization. The Golden Star Lord said. That was the purpose of his trip. What do you have in exchange? The equivalent of the immortal techniques is the immortal techniques. How about I trade the Golden Star immortal techniques for the Purple Star immortal techniques? Sure. Chu Kuangren nodded and did not refuse. Soon after, Chu Kuangren and the others landed in a palace in the Purple Star civilization. This was the Temple of Crepe Myrtle, the center of power in the Purple Star civilization. Chu Kuangren had found the Purple Star immortal techniques and completed the deal with the Golden Star Lord here. Other than that, he also found a treasure vault. The treasury contained the Purple Star civilization's accumulated spirit essence, precious medicines, and purple gold source treasures. It could be said that there were countless of them. The moment the treasure vault was opened, a large amount of treasure light filled the air, stunning the divine moon Taoist master, Xianxia, and the others. Holy F***. As expected of the immortal art civilization. Their resources are truly extraordinary. Look, all of those top-notch Tao tier treasured medicines. One after another. They're more than I've ever seen in my entire life. There is also the spiritual marrow. It fills a whole box of universe rings. How much is that? 100 billion? 1 trillion? I'm rich. Looking at the treasure vault before them, everyone couldn't help but gasp in astonishment. Upon seeing that, Chu Kuangren said calmly, Everyone, you may all take as many treasures as you like from the treasury. Everyone's eyes lit up when they heard that. Then we won't stand on ceremony. Then Brother Chu is really generous. The Divine Moon Tao Lord and the others had taken some things from the treasury, but they were extremely careful and did not take too much. After all, they knew that it was all thanks to Chu Kuangren that they were able to defeat Purple Star this time. Without him, they would have been defeated a long time ago. Chu Kuangren suddenly looked at a jade bottle in the treasury. Inside the bottle was a golden elixir. The surface of the bottle was intertwined with Tao patterns, as if sealing the elixir's medicinal properties. Shao, AI, analyze it. Analyzing. Under the omniscient spirit's analysis, Chu Kuangren quickly figured out the function of the elixir in his hand. It was actually an immortal elixir. To be precise, it was an incomplete immortal elixir. However, too much of the elixir's medicinal properties had been lost, and the elixir's effects were less than 1/10 of the original immortal elixir. Even so, this incomplete immortal elixir was still the biggest treasure in this treasury, and it was very useful to Chu Kuangren. With this elixir, my cultivation base can break through to the heavenly Tao Lord realm. Chu Kuangren held the jade bottle and smiled. Then he put the items in the treasury one by one into his yin and yang ring. After that, he went to the Purple Star Library. The library was a place where the Purple Star civilization's knowledge was stored. This place was more attractive to him than the treasury. In the following period of time, he listed the Temple of Crepe Myrtle as a forbidden area, and no bandits were allowed to come close to disturb him. He stayed in the library for more than 10 days. The Divine Moon Tao Lord and the others had already left the Purple Star Library. After more than 10 days, Chu Kuangren put down the last book in the library with a hint of satisfaction in his eyes. The Purple Star civilization's knowledge is very helpful to me. Whether it's runic alchemy, equipment refinement, formation, or so on, they are all very inspiring. Not only for me, but also for the Firmament Star civilization. I have to pack these books up and send them back to Firmament Star for them to study. Chu Kuangren murmured. Then he took out several jade scrolls, which recorded the immortal techniques of Purple Star and Venus. To be honest, with his current attack methods, unless it was some immortal techniques with special effects, ordinary immortal techniques would not be of much use to him. However, he was still keen to find immortal techniques. Immortal techniques were created by immortals. Immortal techniques often condensed the immortal's cultivation experience and understanding of the Tao, which were useful for him to comprehend by analogy. Not to mention, he also wanted to use immortal techniques to combine the various Taoist physiques. He had to comprehend the origin energy. Soon, he began to comprehend immortal techniques. First was the Purple Star Immortal Technique, Galaxy Apocalypse. Among the 3,000 Taoist physiques in Firmament Star, there was a top-notch Taoist physique called the Star Taoist Physique, which was very compatible with the Galaxy Apocalypse. When Chu Kuangren was in Firmament Star, he had searched for Taoist physiques all over the world to expand the physique book, and this Star Taoist Physique was naturally included. Through the Immortal Technique, Galaxy Apocalypse, and the Star Taoist Physique, Chu Kuangren's consciousness came to the origin world and once again comprehended an origin. The Star Origin Energy. Next was the Golden Star Immortal Technique. The Golden Star Immortal Technique tended to be fierce and domineering, and Chu Kuangren's purple-blooded overlord physique was somewhat compatible with it. After half a month of research, Chu Kuangren was unable to comprehend a new origin energy. It seems that it's still a little lacking. The Golden Star Immortal Technique and the purple-blooded overlord physique are not compatible enough, Chu Kuangren murmured. Of course, he could not rely on the Taoist physique and just rely on the Immortal Technique to comprehend the origin energy, but that would take a lot more time. Let's put it aside for now. Chu Kuangren no longer cared about it. This time, it was already a good harvest for him to comprehend the Star Origin Energy. Now, he had 7 origin energies in his hands. After comprehending so many origins, I still can't create an origin that belongs to me. I wonder when I'll be able to do so. Chu Kuangren murmured. Creating an origin of Taoism that belonged to him was his ultimate goal in comprehending various origins, and it was also the key to becoming an immortal. Chu Kuangren shook his head, knowing that this matter could not be rushed. He had already crossed the demon barrier, and this matter could no longer affect his Taoist core. Next, it's time to break through to the heavenly Tao master. After he had more or less comprehended the immortal techniques, Chu Kuangren took out the remnant immortal pill and crushed the jade bottle. Suddenly, a majestic medicinal effect swept out like a tsunami. Chu Kuangren could not help but be amazed, and then he swallowed it in one gulp. The majestic medicinal effect crazily attacked him. Even a heavenly Tao master would explode and die on the spot if they consumed it. However, Chu Kuangren's physical body was strong enough to withstand it. Then, he activated the universal cauldron physique and began to refine the immortal pill's medicinal effect. Chapter 9:16. 3 months later. Inside the Ziwei Temple, an extremely powerful aura suddenly erupted and swept across the entire Purple Star. Every living being on the Purple Star planet could feel this aura. What a terrifying aura! Is this the heavenly Tao master? This is too terrifying. I've never felt such a terrifying aura from a heavenly Tao master. Even a false immortal would not be this terrifying. Countless cultivators were shocked. They looked towards the direction of the Ziwei Temple. There was no longer anyone from the Ziwei Temple there. There was only one person there. A terrifying existence that destroyed the entire Purple Star civilization. Purple Star Temple. Chu Kuangren suddenly opened his eyes. There was a glimmer in his eyes as he sensed the majestic emperor's qi in his body. A satisfied smile appeared on his face. An immortal pill is indeed an immortal pill. Even an incomplete immortal pill is extraordinary. It allowed me to skip the peak of the great Taoist master level and enter the heavenly Tao master level. Very powerful. Chu Kuangren smiled. After all, he had a strong foundation. Breaking through a small realm required a huge amount of resources, which far exceeded the resources needed by others in the same realm. If it were not for his opportunities of fortune, treasures, and the treasures he obtained from the fantasy roulette, it would have been difficult for him to break through to the Taoist master level in less than 60 years no matter how talented he was. Not to mention the heavenly Tao master level. Next, it's time to send the books in the library to Firmament Star, Chu Kuangren said. With his current cultivation level and the puppet clone on Firmament Star as a medium, it was enough for him to use the spatial conveyor technique to transfer all the books to Firmament Star. He would do it if he wanted to. With a thought, the spatial conveyor technique's fluctuations completely enveloped the entire huge library in front of him. Far away on Firmament Star, the puppet clone suddenly opened its eyes. Taoist patterns flowed on its body and transformed into Chu Kuangren's appearance. Many people sensed the puppet's movements. The Chaos Taoist master and the others rushed over and looked at the puppet with a solemn expression. Could it be that another enemy had come to attack? Don't worry, everyone. I'm just here to give you something, Chu Kuangren said. Then he came to an empty space. With a thought, a huge library appeared out of thin air and landed on the ground, causing the entire imperial palace to tremble. What is this? The Chaos Tao Master and the others were surprised. The intellectual wealth of the Purple Star civilization. Chu Kuangren chuckled. Hearing this, the sect master of 10,000 laws drew a sharp intake of breath and exclaimed in shock, "The wealth of wisdom of the Purple Star civilization? How is that possible?" The Purple Star was one of the 2 immortal technique civilizations in the Purple Gold Galaxy. How did their wealth and wisdom appear on the Firmament Star? What had the king done in the Purple Gold Galaxy? The knowledge contained within this will be of great help to the development of our empire. You guys should get someone to study it properly. Chu Kuangren chuckled. Then he retracted his thoughts and reverted back to his battle puppet form. The power of his will was limited. In order to preserve its power, it would not appear unless it was needed. Hundreds of light years away from Firmament Star, Purple Star, Heavenly Wind Bandit King and the others arrived at Ziwei Divine Palace. In the main hall, Chu Kuangren sat on the main seat with wisps of Emperor's qi circulating around his body. His domineering aura was so terrifying that even the heavens and earth trembled. Now, he'd successfully broken through into the Heavenly Tao Lord realm. His combat strength had become even more unfathomable. "Greetings, young master." Tianfeng Bandit King and the others bowed respectfully. "How's your harvest?" Chu Kuangren nodded slightly and asked casually. "Not bad." Their eyes flashed with a complicated look. Did they gain a lot? Very much. However, the biggest gain was the many treasures, books, and techniques that were hidden in the palace of Crepe Myrtle. All of them had been taken by Chu Kuangren. As for the others, they were not bad either. However, the battle with the Purple Star had also cost them a lot. Although overall, the gains outweighed the losses, it still felt unsatisfactory. However, they could not tell Chu Kuangren about that. What could they do even if they did? Would Chu Kuangren show them any mercy? They were just tools to Chu Kuangren, and they had long accepted that fact. "If that's the case, I'll give you guys 3 days to evacuate the Purple Star as soon as possible," Chu Kuangren said. "What, so soon?" "Master, we still have a lot of resources to mine on the Purple Star. Wouldn't it be too hasty to leave now?" Tianfeng Bandit King and the others said. Chu Kuangren said, "I'm going to devour the Purple Star. If you guys want to become nutrients for my indestructible physique, then stay." Tianfeng Bandit King and the others shuddered. They remembered the scene of Chu Kuangren devouring a planet. If they stayed, they would not be able to escape death. "We understand." Tianfeng Bandit King nodded. 3 days later, the Bandit Kings and their forces left one after another. Chu Kuangren also began to devour the Purple Star. On that day, the entire Purple Star was shaken. Countless Purple Star living beings trembled in fear and fled to the outer domain. Chu Kuangren's devouring of the Purple Star was sensed by the Purple Gold Galaxy's forces, and they were all shocked. That's too cruel. Not only did he destroy the entire Purple Star civilization, but he's also going to devour an entire star. So the poetic sword sage is the star devourer that's been the talk of the town lately. How many more tricks does he have up his sleeves? Terrifying. The Purple Star civilization is truly gone. Countless cultivators, including the Hollow Immortals, were terrified. They secretly swore that they could offend anyone but Chu Kuangren in the future. Otherwise, not only would the people be gone, the civilization would be gone, and even the stars would be gone. This kind of method was too frightening. That firmament star is just an ordinary high-level cultivator civilization, yet they've produced such a freak. This is too scary. There aren't many immortal seeds like this in the whole universe, right? I think only those immortal physiques and second-generation immortals can compare. That's right. If nothing goes wrong, this person will definitely achieve great things in the broken immortal world. Multiple emperors' thoughts converged and circulated in the void. In the Purple Gold Galaxy, Chu Kuangren could be said to be the strongest cultivator. No one dared to provoke him and the firmament star behind him anymore. After all, the Purple Star civilization's fate was clear for all to see. That was Chu Kuangren's goal. To make an example out of them. Only by using his thunderous methods against the Purple Star civilization could the other civilizations and forces give up on him and the firmament star. In space, a huge planet was constantly collapsing. That was the Purple Star civilization. In the end, the Purple Star civilization collapsed and turned into a huge ball of light. Within it, there was a vague silhouette of a person. His heavy breathing echoed in space like a gale-force wind. It was Chu Kuangren. In the end, the Purple Star civilization's energy had completely dissipated. Chu Kuangren opened his eyes and stood up. With every move he made, starlight swirled and shook the void. With a gentle punch, a large piece of the void collapsed in front of him. Very good. I'm one step closer to the completion of the immortal physique. Coupled with the Heavenly Tao Master's cultivation, the 7 origin energies, and the Heavenly Tao's Heavenly Tao that I've devoured, my combat strength is now invincible in the Purple Gold Galaxy. Now, I just have to wait for the broken immortal world to descend. Chapter 9:18. The broken immortal realm had appeared. The immortal ascension path had opened. Every cultivator who witnessed this scene was tempted. Dozens of galaxies, including the Purple Gold Galaxy, were all rushing to the immortal ascension path, hoping to enter the broken immortal realm in search of opportunities of fortune. This situation led to all sorts of chaos. Cultivators from dozens of galaxies were all rushing to the same place. The closer they were to their destination, the more conflicts there were. Especially since a large portion of these cultivators were sky prides or even immortal seeds, they were prideful and arrogant, which made it easier for them to get into conflicts. Those who wanted to fight for treasures would compete with each other. What was even more ridiculous was that they would fight each other just because of a glance. "Why are you looking at me?" "So what if I'm looking at you?" "Why don't you try looking at me again?" That was the gist of it. In space, a warship was sailing. Chu Kuangren looked at the immortal ascension path that was getting closer and closer. His initial eagerness, anticipation, and excitement had now turned into calmness. However, along the way, he did encounter some people who were looking for trouble. Most of them were from other galaxies. It was Chu Kuangren's first time meeting people from other galaxies. Although they were far weaker than him, after some comparison, he felt that the overall strength of the Purple Gold Galaxy was not that great compared to the other galaxies. It was only below average. Clearly, there was a gap between galaxies. He had also heard that some galaxies had a few or even dozens of stars as energy sources to sustain the development of civilizations. Boom, at that moment, a wave of energy fluctuation came from afar. It was as if two parties were fighting. Chu Kuangren was already used to such occurrences. Throughout his journey, he had seen and even personally encountered quite a number of such occurrences. He did not want to be a busybody. However, just as he was about to pass by, a few warships flew towards him from afar. One of the warships that was on fire crashed straight towards him. It looked like it had lost control. "Ah, the one in front, watch out." A scream came from that warship. Chu Kuangren frowned. If that warship crashed into him, his warship would be scrapped. He channeled his mind power and formed an invisible barrier, blocking the warship outside of his own warship. Then, a girl wearing a blue dress, about 1.5 meters tall, and a pair of fox ears fell from the warship. On the girl's forehead, there was a faint crescent moon mark. The young lady charged towards Chu Kuangren with a panicked look on her face. She could not even fly in the air, as if she did not have any cultivation base. Chu Kuangren ignored him. With a thought, he activated the warship's defensive array formation. A light screen instantly formed, and the girl would probably smash it. However, what surprised Chu Kuangren was that this young lady who did not seem to have any cultivation level was able to pass through the warship's defensive spell. Not only that, but the formation did not react at all. At that moment, Chu Kuangren sensed a strange fluctuation coming from the crescent moon mark on the fox-eared girl's forehead. "Oh, interesting." Chu Kuangren smirked. Bang. Ouch. After the fox-eared girl penetrated the protective shield of the battleship, she fell directly onto the deck of the battleship and let out a cry of pain. She got up and rubbed her butt, then looked at Chu Kuangren with a hint of resentment. Seeing a beautiful girl like her fall so badly, and yet he was still so indifferent, calling him a human was just too cold-blooded. She carefully looked at Chu Kuangren, and then her eyes lit up. This human seems to be quite good-looking. I shall forgive him then. The fox-eared girl thought to herself. However, at that moment, a few battleships nearby had already approached them. "Little Yao, where do you think you're going?" A cold voice was heard. Upon hearing that voice, the fox-eared girl suddenly panicked, and she subconsciously wanted to seek protection. However, she looked around the battleship and could not find any place that could shelter her. The only person there was Chu Kuangren. "Fellow human Taoist, are you alone here?" The fox-eared girl quickly asked. "Yes." Chu Kuangren nodded slightly. He had already activated the spirit of omniscience and was analyzing the fox-eared girl's information. The more he looked, the more interesting he felt. "It's over." Upon hearing Chu Kuangren's words, the fox-eared girl's face suddenly became dejected, and then she sat on the ground as if she had accepted her fate. "What bad luck, what bad luck. It's really over now. I haven't even found that irresponsible father of mine, and I can't believe I'm going to die here. Sob sob, I don't want this to happen." At that thought, the fox-eared girl started to cry. Her pea-sized tears fell like pearls from a broken necklace. Her tears were so pitiful that it made people's hearts ache. Chu Kuangren looked at her calmly from the side. Upon seeing that, the fox-eared girl felt that Chu Kuangren was even more cold-blooded. She was already crying so miserably, yet he did not even try to comfort her. Moreover, if she was caught, she would suffer even worse consequences. At that thought, she cried even harder. "Don't be noisy," Chu Kuangren said indifferently. However, the fox-eared girl ignored him and continued to cry. Not far away, a few battleships had already surrounded Chu Kuangren's battleship. Based on the battleship's performance, Chu Kuangren could tell that these people were definitely from a powerful civilization or force. At least, Purple Star's technology could not produce more than a few battleships. The battleship in front, hand over the fox demon. A cold voice was heard. A middle-aged man walked out of one of the battleships, and this middle-aged man was riding on a double-headed lion. There was a large group of cultivators next to him, and each of them had a beast with them. They were enslaving beasts. That triggered a memory in Chu Kuangren. In the Firmament Star, there used to be a force called the Craggy Ocean Tower that relied on enslaving beasts and beast souls to survive. Later on, they offended him and were destroyed by him. It seemed like these people were similar to the Craggy Ocean Tower. "Little fox, I'll give you two choices." At that moment, Chu Kuangren spoke. It was not to the battleship in front of him, but to the fox-eared girl beside him. The fox-eared girl did not seem to react to his words. She looked at Chu Kuangren, who was sobbing with a confused look in her red, swollen eyes. "What do you mean?" 1. Submit to me and serve me as your master, and I'll help you get rid of these people. 2. After I've dealt with them, I'll beat you up until you submit. Chu Kuangren said calmly. The fox-eared girl was a little confused. "What's the difference?" "For the first option, you take the initiative and you won't have to suffer. For the second option, you'll have to suffer some physical pain," Chu Kuangren said. The cultivators nearby heard Chu Kuangren's words and their faces turned grim. Chu Kuangren's two choices showed that he had no intention of handing over the fox-eared girl. This guy wants to monopolize the Moonlight Fox. ***, the Moonlight Fox is extremely rare. We must control it in the hands of the Beast Hunter planet. We must not allow anyone else to touch it. The cultivators discussed among themselves. They looked at Chu Kuangren with hostility in their eyes. Meanwhile, on the battleship, the fox-eared girl was still sobbing as she thought about what Chu Kuangren said. Chapter 9:19. Kid, I'll give you one more chance. Hand over the Moonlight Fox obediently. That Moonlight Fox has the familiar collar that we refined. I can detonate it with just a thought. If you don't hand it over, I'll detonate it. At that time, no one will want it. On the warship opposite Chu Kuangren, the lion-riding cultivator said loudly as a powerful aura suddenly erupted from his body. The fox-eared girl could not help but shiver when she heard that. She touched the silver collar on her neck and felt a chill run down her spine. It was the feeling of not being able to control her own life and death. "Oh, the Imperial Beast Collar. Is this the thing that completely sealed your cultivation?" Chu Kuangren looked at the Moonlight Fox's collar and said. The fox-eared girl nodded repeatedly. "It can seal your cultivation, but not your innate abilities. No wonder you could escape from them," Chu Kuangren said. Not far away, the middle-aged man's expression changed slightly. "You really know about the Moonlight Fox and her abilities?" "I just found out," Chu Kuangren said lightly. The Moonlight Fox was an ancient and rare beast. Its cultivation talent was so strong that it could even be compared to divine beasts such as the true dragon and phoenix. More importantly, Moonlight Foxes had an incomparably powerful divine ability, and that was to ignore formations and restrictions. It was a very powerful ability. After all, any place that contained great opportunities of fortune would often be protected by restrictive spells, making it difficult to explore. The Moonlight Fox's ability was so helpful in exploring opportunities of fortune that it was enough to attract countless cultivators. This ability directly gave the Moonlight Fox the same status and value as divine beasts. Initially, the Beast Hunter planet had captured the Moonlight Fox, locked it up, and even put the imperial beast collar on it. However, since it was their first time encountering a moonlight fox, they were inexperienced and did not know that the imperial beast collar could seal cultivation but not the moonlight fox's abilities. That was how the moonlight fox managed to escape. That was why they chased it all the way. As for detonating the imperial beast collar and killing a moonlight fox, they could not bear to do that. Kid, stop talking nonsense. Are you going to hand it over or not? If not, don't blame us for being rude, the middle-aged man said coldly. Come on. You're asking for it. Go. The middle-aged man snorted coldly. One by one, horrifying beasts flew out from the battleships around them. Each of them emanated a powerful aura as they charged towards Chu Kuangren. They're just a bunch of beasts that have lost their wildness. How are they a threat? Chu Kuangren said indifferently. With a single thought, thousands of weapons swept in all directions. With a loud bang, the beasts turned into ashes one by one. What? This strength, the master of the heavenly law. This person is actually a heavenly Tao Lord. Judging from his aura, he shouldn't be very old, but he's actually reached the heavenly Tao Lord realm. This is an immortal seed, and not an ordinary one at that. Immortal seed juggernaut. An immortal seed giant was someone who stood at the peak of immortal seeds. Even on the Beast Hunter planet, there was only one celestial seed giant. They didn't expect to meet one now. From the performance of his battleship, the civilization behind him doesn't seem to be able to nurture an immortal seed giant. Damn it, it's actually an immortal seed giant. Which galaxy and civilization are you from? The middle-aged man yelled. Chu Kuangren did not answer. A new round of spiritual power weapons gathered above him and aimed at the dozens of battleships in front of him. D***, Shadow Beast, go! The middle-aged man let out a low roar. Suddenly, a strange beast shadow rushed out from his shadow and charged towards Chu Kuangren. A sinister and eerie aura instantly locked onto Chu Kuangren. Demons and monsters, how dare you act so presumptuously? Chu Kuangren snorted coldly. He unleashed a punch. In an instant, his terrifying physical strength landed on the beast shadow, and the beast shadow was blasted into a cloud of blood mist. How is this possible? The middle-aged man sucked in a cold breath. The shadow beast that he had reared was as powerful as a heavenly Tao Lord. Even if Chu Kuangren was also a heavenly Tao Lord, how could he kill it with a single punch? This was completely illogical. Even if he was a celestial seed juggernaut, it was still too much. Could it be a celestial seed king? No, that was impossible. A king among immortal seeds. Such a character was extremely rare in the entire universe. How did they meet one? D***, since we can't get our hands on this moonlight fox, don't even think about getting it. The middle-aged man said hatefully. He then formed a mysterious seal with his hands. Suddenly, the silver necklace on the fox-eared girl's neck began to glow, and a look of horror appeared on her face. I don't want to die. Don't worry. With me here, you won't die even if you want to. Chu Kuangren said calmly. He then raised his hand and grabbed the silver necklace. The middle-aged man sneered. It's useless. This necklace can't be removed without a special technique. If you use external force to break it, it'll explode in an instant. However, his pupils shrank the next moment. He saw Chu Kuangren reach out and grab the necklace. Then, a strange fluctuation emanated from his body, and the necklace disappeared. How could this be? That fluctuation was a spatial technique. He used a spatial technique to remove the necklace. Before the middle-aged man could react, he suddenly felt something on his neck. Then, the surrounding cultivators looked at him in horror. Not good. The middle-aged man reached out and grabbed his neck. It was the necklace. The necklace had been transferred to his neck. He wanted to undo the self-destruct command on the necklace, but it was too late. In the next second, the necklace exploded. The middle-aged man's head turned into ashes on the spot, leaving behind a headless corpse on the deck. It twitched twice before it died. The fox-eared girl could not help but shiver. If it were not for Chu Kuangren, she would be the one lying on the ground now. The elder is dead. Run now. Quick, leave this place. The Beast Hunter planet's cultivators hurriedly tried to escape. However, in the next moment, densely packed spiritual power weapons covered the entire starry sky and rained down like a torrential downpour. The sound of the battleships exploding was heard one after another. Not long after, the starry sky was filled with battleship wreckage and corpses. All right, what do you think of the two choices I gave you just now? Chu Kuangren looked at the fox-eared girl and said, Boss, I choose the first one. I'll surrender and listen to you from now on. If you tell me to go east, I won't go west. If you tell me to eat chicken, I won't eat rabbit. The fox-eared girl quickly expressed her stance. After witnessing Chu Kuangren's powerful strength, she had no room to resist at all. Hence, she gave in on the spot. Very well. Chu Kuangren nodded. You're very tactful. My name is Yu. Yu as in moon, Yu as in joy. You can call me Lil Yu, or Lil Yu. What a mess. Just call me Lil Fox. As long as you're happy. Boss, what's your name? Chu Kuangren. What a mighty name. You sound like a dragon among men, a peerless powerhouse. You're indeed worthy of being called a boss. Lil Fox, you're quite good at flattering people. You must be joking, boss. I'm just telling the truth. Besides, you're a dragon among men. Even if you want to flatter someone, you should flatter them. Chu Kuangren was speechless. What the hell did I just accept? Chapter 920. Little Fox came from a high-level cultivator civilization in the Green Emperor Galaxy. That civilization was dominated by the beasts. Little Fox was the maiden sage of the Fox Demon tribe. However, she was not from that civilization. Instead, she was an outsider. When I was very young, I went to visit Sanyang and the others with my father, but he left me there for a few hundred years. This time, I'm here to look for my irresponsible father. I heard that he went to some immortal realm. Little Fox explained her situation on the warship. Chu Kuangren pondered. How are you so sure that the immortal realm your father went to is this immortal realm? There were no complete immortal realms in this universe. All that was scattered around the universe were fragments of the immortal realm, which were also known as the fragmented immortal realms. Perhaps Little Fox's father went to another fragmented immortal realm. I don't know either, but I thought that since they're all immortal realms, there might be some clues. That's why I came here. That's it? Yes, Chu Kuangren glanced at Little Fox. The little Taoist's cultivation level was not bad. It was no wonder she dared to venture out. However, she was unlucky to have met the people from the Beast Hunter planet not long after she left and was almost captured and enslaved. Boss, look, we're almost at the immortal Ascension path. Little Fox suddenly stood up and exclaimed. She pointed at a place not far away that was shrouded in immortal light. That was the immortal Ascension path. There were countless cultivators in the immortal Ascension path. Many of these cultivators were standing in front of the white stone pillars, looking at the patterns on them as if they were trying to understand something. Little Fox could not help but feel strange when she saw that. Boss, what are they looking at? I think they're trying to understand these stone pillars. Little Fox fell into deep thought. I heard from Sanyang and the others that the path of immortal ascension in the immortal world is extremely mystical. It's said that when powerful immortals pass by, a phenomenon will appear on the path of immortal ascension to greet them. I wonder if that's true. It's an old rumor. It's hard to tell if it's true or not. Chu Kuangren said. There were many rumors about the immortal realm in the universe. However, no one knew how true these rumors were, especially for a young cultivator like Chu Kuangren. The time when the immortal realm was shattered was too long ago for them. It was an event that happened countless of years ago. It could even be traced back to the previous era. 129,600 years was a first year, and 129,600 first years was a universe epoch. An epoch was a very long time for immortals, and immortals who could live through an epoch were few and far between. Chu Kuangren steered the warship closer to the immortal ascension path. Right then, A young man slowly stepped into the path of immortal ascension. His steps were steady and there was a hint of arrogance between his brows. When he stepped onto the immortal ascension path, the white stone pillars on both sides suddenly trembled. The image of a dragon and a phoenix appeared above him and circled around. An auspicious aura filled the air, causing many people to be speechless. This is a supreme immortal seed. That's right. The path of immortal ascension will only react when greeting immortals. However, it will also react when encountering some immortal seeds that have the potential to become immortals. This young man is not simple. I heard that not long ago, when an immortal seed from the Green Royal Galaxy walked through the path of immortal ascension, there were 10 dragons and 10 phoenixes circling around it. It was a spectacular scene. No matter what, it must be an immortal seed giant. With that level of immortal seeds, as long as there are no accidents, they have at least a 20% chance of becoming immortals. They're much stronger than us. Yeah, there's no comparison. Countless people discussed among themselves as they looked at the young man with the dragon and phoenix avatar above his head with envy. Under everyone's envious gaze, the young man arrived at the end of the path of immortal ascension and walked into the gate that led to the broken immortal realm. In a sense, this path of immortal ascension is also a tool to test one's immortal seed potential, Chu Kuangren murmured. Beside him, the little fox nodded. Only 1 dragon and 1 phoenix. If you were to go up there, you'd have at least 10 dragons and 10 phoenixes. Thank you for your kind words then. Chu Kuangren chuckled. At that moment, a few more warships came from afar, and one of them was closing in on Chu Kuangren. Brother Chu. A surprised voice came from the warship. Chu Kuangren looked over and saw the tri-absolute swordsmen, Duan Muhong, and Shui Qianhua. They were all gold planets grade 1 purple gold galaxies, sky prides and immortal seeds. Evidently, these people were planning to explore the broken immortal realm. The one who called out to Chu Kuangren was the tri-absolute swordsman. He looked at Chu Kuangren. Brother Chu, you're here too. Greetings, everyone. Chu Kuangren nodded slightly. He had noticed that other than the purple gold galaxy's immortal seeds, there were also immortal seeds from other galaxies. Brother Chu, allow me to introduce you. These are immortal seeds from the Windcloud Galaxy. This is Hong Shui, and he's Yun Qianlu. The tri-absolute swordsman introduced them to Chu Kuangren. Chu Kuangren nodded in response. Meanwhile, these immortal seeds from the Windcloud Galaxy were secretly sizing Chu Kuangren up. Along the way, they had heard a lot about Chu Kuangren from the tri-absolute swordsman, so they were very curious about him. Other than his good looks, there's nothing special about him. The young immortal seed Yun Qianlu secretly pouted. Now that Chu Kuangren had ascended to become a heavenly Tao master, and his aura was hidden, it was difficult for ordinary cultivators to see through his cultivation level. However, some of the more intelligent cultivators could see that he was unfathomable. Although Yun Qianlu was also an immortal seed, he was not much stronger than the tri-absolute swordsman and the others. Hence, he could not see through Chu Kuangren. Only one immortal seed named Hong Shui looked at Chu Kuangren with a hint of seriousness in his eyes, as if he had met a formidable opponent. This aura, it's so profound that it's hard to fathom. What realm has this person reached? Hong Shui was secretly surprised. Brother Hong. Suddenly, Yun Qianlu noticed something. He looked at the little fox behind Chu Kuangren and stared at the faint silver crescent mark on her forehead. Is she the legendary Moonlight Fox? The Moonlight Fox was a powerful beast that was comparable to a divine beast. Its divine abilities and talents were even more sought after. That might be the case. Demonic chi, fox ears, crescent mark, tsk, these all match the characteristics of a Moonlight Fox. It's very likely that she's the Moonlight Fox. What an opportunity of fortune. Hong Shui, Yun Qianlu, and the other immortal seeds converged their emperor's thoughts as they looked at the little fox. Their gazes gradually became heated, and they almost wanted to snatch it from her. Brother Chu, is this a beast that you're rearing? Yun Qianlu pretended to be calm as he asked Chu Kuangren. Chu Kuangren nodded slightly. This little fox looks quite obedient to me. The path to immortality is long, so it's good to have a pet to keep her company. I wonder if Brother Chu is willing to part with her? Yun Qianlu said. I'm sorry, but I'm keeping this little fox for myself. I have no intention of selling her, Chu Kuangren said as he reached out his hand to rub the little fox's head. It felt quite nice to the touch. The little fox's originally pink fox ears instantly became even pinker, and her face was flushed red. However, she did not refuse and stood there obediently. Chapter 9:21. How about this? I'm willing to pay 3 billion kilograms of spiritual marrow. What do you think? Yun Qianlu said arrogantly. 3 billion kilograms of spiritual marrow was enough to buy a top-notch great Taoist weapon or even a heavenly Taoist weapon. Putting aside the little fox's identity as a moonlight fox, its cultivation level was only that of an ordinary minor Taoist master. I've said it before. I'm not selling this little fox. Forget 3 billion kilograms of spiritual marrow. Even if it was 30 billion, Chu Kuangren would not be interested in it. 5 billion. Yun Qianlu frowned and raised his bid. Chu Kuangren remained unmoved. 1 immortal crystal. At that moment, Hong Shui spoke. The crowd could not help but gasp at his bid. It's an immortal crystal. F***ck me, this is too much. Immortal crystals were crystals that contained extremely pure spiritual power. 1 immortal crystal was equivalent to a few billion kilograms of spiritual marrow. More importantly, celestial crystals were called celestial crystals because they could be used to comprehend and strengthen one's origin energy. Although the effect was weak, it was extremely tempting to anyone below the immortal realm, especially those who had yet to gain insights into the origin energy. Even the top-notch heavenly Taoist masters would be tempted. I won't hide it from you. This moonlight fox is a rare beast, and I want to buy it, Hong Shui said straightforwardly. You're quite honest, but if you want to buy a moonlight fox with 1 immortal crystal, you're underestimating its value. Chu Kuangren said calmly. A fully grown moonlight fox was worth more than 10,000 immortal crystals, let alone 1 immortal crystal. I can only offer 1 immortal crystal now. Hong Shui said indifferently. Brother Hong, there's no need to waste your breath on him. No matter what, he must sell this moonlight fox today. Yun Qianlu snorted. Jian Sanju and the others did not look pleased at his words. My friends, don't you think it's a little childish to fall out over a fox? Jian Sanju said. What do you know? This is a moonlight fox we're talking about. Yun Qianlu sneered. Some civilizations would even start a civilization war just to fight for a beast like this. Besides, they were about to enter the shattered immortal world. If they had the help of the moonlight fox, it would be extremely useful. It seems like you guys are planning to force a deal. In that case, all I can say is... Chu Kuangren chuckled. Then, his gaze turned cold. Scram! The soft cry caused the expressions of Yun Qianlu, Hong Shui, and the others to instantly turn gloomy. This was especially true for Yun Qianlu, who could not help but say coldly, You are refusing a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. He raised his hand and grabbed at the moonlight fox behind Chu Kuangren. Emperor Qi surged out. Surprisingly, his cultivation base was at the peak of the little Tao Lord realm. A mere little Tao Lord dares to be impudent in front of me. He snorted coldly and casually threw a punch. With a bang, a figure was sent flying. Yun Qianlu clutched his trembling arm, his face filled with shock. This kind of physical strength. Are you a cultivator specializing in body tempering? Chu Kuangren retracted his hand, too lazy to answer the other party. At the side, Hong Shui's expression was rather grave. You're indeed very powerful. You're indeed a formidable opponent. The energy on his body circulated, revealing a terrifying Tao Lord's aura. His cultivation level had reached the peak of the Tao Lord realm. He was only 1 step away from becoming a heavenly Tao master. Compared to the Gold Star and Purple Star first sequences, he was much stronger. Chu Kuangren could even vaguely sense the fluctuations of the origin from his body. Hong Shui had already gained enlightenment on the origin. This kind of celestial seed was already strong enough to be labeled as a great ruler. 8 Desolation See Suppression Fist. Hong Shui growled. As he lifted his arm, a huge amount of Emperor Qi gushed out, shaking the starry sky in all directions. With a punch, it was as if he was going to suppress the entire world. Furthermore, this punch also contained a strand of origin energy. This punch was enough to rival a heavenly Tao master. However, Chu Kuangren still calmly threw out a punch. With a loud bang, a huge amount of Emperor Qi and Hong Shui's origin energy crumbled, and Hong Shui was forced to retreat by nearly 100 feet. What? This person is definitely a celestial seed great ruler. The crowd exclaimed when they saw that. Hong Shui's expression was extremely solemn. He had used 70% of his strength in that punch just now, but Chu Kuangren still easily forced him to retreat. Chu Kuangren's strength was unimaginably strong. He was definitely stronger than Hong Shui. "Brother Hong, let's attack together," Yun Qianlu yelled. Hong Shui had already recognized the gap in their strength and wanted to stop them. However, it was too late. Yun Qianlu channeled some kind of immortal technique and appeared in front of Chu Kuangren like a bolt of lightning. He clenched his fist and aimed it at Chu Kuangren's head. "You're asking for a mile after giving me an inch." A cold, murderous intent flashed in Chu Kuangren's eyes. He unleashed a punch that was even more violent than before, and it landed on Yun Qianlu's body. Boom! A cloud of blood mist exploded in the void. Yun Qianlu, the celestial seed, was killed before he could even react. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. It turned out that his opponent had not used his full strength just now. A top-notch celestial seed great ruler. I didn't expect him to be someone like that. The crowd was even more shocked. Hong Shui, on the other hand, did not want to fight anymore. He took a deep breath and said, "We're sorry for the offense. Farewell." "Did I give you permission to leave?" Chu Kuangren's cold voice rang. He looked at the few of them and said indifferently, "You want to leave just because you can't win? Who do you think I am? What else do you want?" Hong Shui took a deep breath and said, "What do you want? If you want to apologize, you should look like you're apologizing. Leave your yin and yang rings behind." Chu Kuangren said, "Impossible. In your dreams." The few celestial seeds behind Hong Shui were instantly furious. Their yin and yang rings were filled with the wealth and life-saving items that their orthodoxies or civilizations had given them during their trip to the shattered immortal world. How could they just hand over those items just like that? "It's fine if you don't want to hand them over, but leave your lives behind," Chu Kuangren said calmly. His aura circulated, and his powerful aura shook the surroundings. "Brother Taoist, always leave a way out. Do you really want to be so ruthless?" Hong Shui took a deep breath and said, "Leave the ring, leave your life, hurry up and choose." "You." Hong Shui was so angry that he gritted his teeth. Knowing that he was no match for Chu Kuangren, he could only throw away the yin and yang ring in his hand. The other celestial seeds could only admit defeat when they saw that. After all, no matter how good a treasure was, they needed to be alive to enjoy it. After leaving behind the yin and yang ring, the few of them left dejectedly and walked into the immortal ascension path to enter the shattered immortal world. They swore that they would find an opportunity of fortune in the shattered immortal world and surpass Chu Kuangren in one fell swoop to avenge today's humiliation. Just as Hong Shui stepped into the immortal ascension path, the white stone pillars around him suddenly reacted. The dragon and phoenix carvings on the stone pillars seemed to have come to life, and several dragon and phoenix shadows hovered above his head. It was the auspicious dragon and phoenix phenomenon. This also symbolized the strength of Hong Shui's talent. The surrounding people exclaimed in surprise. Hong Shui was slightly comforted. A momentary failure is nothing. Chu Kuangren, just you wait, I will surpass you. Chapter 922. Within the path of immortal ascension, Hong Shui stepped within, the illusory figures of dragons and phoenixes circling around him. The surrounding cultivators exclaimed. The cultivators behind him also had looks of worship on their faces. As expected of Big Brother Hong, you're amazing. Yeah, it's too awesome. It's said that this path of immortal ascension is used to welcome immortals. But now that Big Bro Hong has arrived, there's an auspicious sign of a dragon and phoenix. This means that Big Bro Hong is destined to become an immortal in the future. Congratulations, Big Bro Hong. The few immortal seeds flattered him. Hong Shui laughed and said, "Thank you for your praise." He continued walking toward the end of the path of immortal ascension. A dragon and phoenix avatar circled above his head, making him look like an immortal who had attained the Tao. What's there to be proud of? Boss, let's go. Let's show them what it means to be a true genius. Little Fox tugged at Chu Kuangren's sleeve and walked towards the immortal ascension path. Chu Kuangren said calmly, "Don't be arrogant, don't be impatient." The dragon and phoenix phenomenon, the name of the immortal seed. Xiaoqin had already gotten over all of these long ago. They were just some fancy things. Only one's own strength was the true guarantee. The little fox stuck out its tongue. Behind them, Jian Sanju and the others were also filled with anticipation. What do you think the Tao of Immortal Ascension will do if fellow Taoist Chu steps into it? How many dragons and phoenixes will appear? Sanju said. I don't know, but it's definitely more than Hong Shui. Indeed, fellow Chu's talent and strength are much more outstanding than Hong Shui's. I'm afraid he can attract dozens of dragons and phoenixes. The few of them said. Even the first sequence of Venus could only admire Chu Kuangren now. Apart from the purple gold galaxy's immortal seed who knew of Chu Kuangren's true strength, the others were also looking at Chu Kuangren expectantly. After all, the strength he displayed earlier had already reached the level of a celestial seed giant, so he couldn't help but pay attention to him. I've been here for a few months, and the strongest immortal seed giant I've seen is 40 dragons and phoenixes. How far can this Chu Kuangren go? I've been here longer than you and was fortunate enough to see an immortal seed king attracting hundreds of dragons and phoenixes. That scene was truly shocking. Don't tell me this person has also reached the level of an immortal seed monarch. It'll probably be a little difficult. Countless cultivators were whispering to each other. However, Chu Kuangren did not care about that at all. At this moment, he and the little fox had arrived at the path of immortal ascension. They looked at the towering white stone pillar curiously. The stone pillar was not solid. It was more like the manifestation of a type of Tao pattern. No wonder so many people were willing to stay in the immortal ascension path and study these stone pillars. Boss, let's go. Chu Kuangren nodded slightly. He stepped into the immortal ascension path. As soon as he stepped in, the entire path of immortal ascension began to shake. The stone pillars began to emit white light. What happened? F***CK, this guy hasn't even fully walked in yet. Everyone looked at Chu Kuangren in utter shock. He had only taken one step in, but the immortal ascension path was already shaking. What would happen if he came in with his whole body? The tremors in the immortal ascension path did not affect Chu Kuangren's footsteps at all. He slowly walked forward and entered the immortal ascension path. In an instant, all 9,999 stone pillars on the path of immortal ascension shone with white light at the same time. The light was so dazzling that it seemed like it was going to light up the entire universe. Countless almighty beings in the universe noticed the changes in the path of immortal ascension. What's wrong with the immortal ascension path? There's no record of such a phenomenon in the books. Could it be that some king immortal seed or immortal has appeared? Even immortal seeds like the true dragon and divine phoenix wouldn't cause such a big commotion. No, I'm afraid not even real immortals. What kind of existence would appear in the immortal ascension path? Many universe almighties looked curiously in the direction of the immortal ascension path. In the path of immortal ascension. The moment Chu Kuangren walked into it, the entire path of ascension shook. The dragon and phoenix carvings on the 9,999 white stone pillars seemed to have come to life as they let out earth-shattering roars and cries. One by one, the silhouettes of dragons and phoenixes soared into the sky and hovered above Chu Kuangren. Their auspicious lights lit up the entire sky. Not only that, but the rest of the celestial seed silhouettes also flew towards Chu Kuangren as if they were summoned. 10. 100, 1,000, 9,999 dragons and 9,999 phoenixes. In the end, all the dragons and phoenixes on the path of ascension came out in full force. In an instant, the dragons and phoenixes on the path of ascension soared into the sky. Their majestic aura complemented that white-robed figure, making him look like a supreme immortal king. The path of ascension that welcomed an immortal was like welcoming the king of the immortal realm. Everyone was dumbfounded. Everyone was dumbfounded. Even Sanju swordsmen and the others who had witnessed Chu Kuangren's strength back in the purple gold galaxy could not help but be shocked by this scene. This had surpassed the realm of celestial seeds. Who the hell is he? Oh my God, this person can definitely become an immortal. 9,999 dragons and phoenixes welcoming him. This is the legendary formation that only immortal kings would have. Who the hell is he? Among the crowd, Hong Shui was dumbfounded. What was he thinking just now? Did he want to surpass this person? Was he kidding? When Hong Shui stepped into the path of ascension, there were already several dragons and phoenixes that responded to him. Yet this person had caused the entire path of ascension to tremble and summon dragons and phoenixes at once. How could there be any comparison? None. He had lost. It was a complete and utter defeat. Hong Shui could not help but think in sorrow. He no longer had the desire to surpass Chu Kuangren. His Taoist core was on the verge of collapsing at that moment. The only person who could remain calm was Chu Kuangren. He was dressed in a snow-white robe with a calm expression on his face. The crowd's shock and the unusual movements in the path of ascension did not seem to affect him at all. With countless dragons and phoenixes above his head, he walked steadily towards the end of the path of ascension. Big boss, wait for me." It was not until Chu Kuangren was a few dozen meters away that the little fox, who was still in a daze, regained her senses and quickly chased after him. She was now even more determined to follow Chu Kuangren. This was a true big boss. If she followed him, would she still have to worry about not having enough meat to eat? Now, even if Chu Kuangren were to chase the little fox away with a broom, she would not leave. The little fox caught up to Chu Kuangren and tugged on his sleeve. Looking at the countless dragons and phoenixes above her head, she felt valiant and high-spirited. She raised her head and puffed out her chest, looking proud and proud. Not long after, Chu Kuangren arrived at the end of the path of ascension. There was a huge door in front of him. He took a look at it and then walked in. The next moment, he appeared high up in the sky. Below them were undulating mountain ranges and rivers. Occasionally, countless rare birds and beasts would fly past. "Is this the immortal realm?" Chu Kuangren murmured. He could feel the abundant spiritual qi in the air, as well as the Taoist fluctuations that were everywhere in the unseen world. With a single thought of his emperor's thought, everything within 100 million kilometers of him was reflected in his mind. Beasts, mountains, spiritual mines, Taoist medicines, all sorts of scenery and treasures appeared one after another. So this is the immortal realm. How amazing! The little fox walked out from behind him. She could not help but marvel at the scenery of the immortal realm before her. Chapter 923. The vastness of the immortal realm was truly awe-inspiring. Just as Chu Kuangren and the little fox were in awe, a few rays of light suddenly flew over from afar and surrounded Chu Kuangren. "Kid, hand over your yin and yang ring." Chu Kuangren frowned. What was this? Robbery? Was he robbed the moment he entered the immortal realm? "Who are you people?" The little fox stared at the people in front of her with a guarded expression. "Heh, it doesn't matter who we are. As outsiders, hand over your yin and yang ring. If I'm in a good mood, I can even recommend you to join the Divine Flame Church." A middle-aged man in a red Taoist robe with a flame pattern on it chuckled as if he already had Chu Kuangren and the little fox in his grasp. Meanwhile, Chu Kuangren had already activated his spirit of omniscience when these people arrived, and he had already analyzed all of their information. He had a general understanding of their origins. What he was more interested in was the word outsider. Looks like there are natives in this broken immortal world. The immortal realm was broken into pieces, and there were countless living beings in these broken worlds who continued to develop in the immortal realm. These people were the natives of the immortal realm. To them, Chu Kuangren was an outsider. The spirit of omniscience said, also, according to the analysis, this immortal realm nurtures a will similar to the heavenly Tao. The will of the immortal realm? Chu Kuangren was intrigued. What are you spacing out for? It looks like you don't want to hand it over. Then don't blame us for being rude. The middle-aged man who claimed to be from the Divine Flame Church snorted and took a step forward. A crimson flame appeared in his hand and it was filled with scorching heat as he threw it at Chu Kuangren. Chu Kuangren gently raised his hand and the crimson flame was instantly shattered by a huge force, turning into countless sparks that scattered in all directions. Oh, this strength, and it's an immortal seed. The middle-aged man's eyes lit up. He then continued, Kid, seeing that you're an immortal seed, as long as you join the Divine Flame Church and work for us, I can spare your life. What do you say? If you want me to be the leader, I'll consider it. You have a death wish. A cold light shot out from the middle-aged man's eyes. A long spear appeared in his hand, and he raised it and thrust it towards Chu Kuangren. The force of the spear was so strong that it set off a storm in the void. In the outside world, this spear was enough to tear through the void. However, the spatial structure of the immortal world was extremely stable. This spear could only create a storm in the void, but it was unable to tear the void apart. Chu Kuangren made a mental note of that. At the same time, he grabbed the spearhead with his hand. What? The middle-aged man's expression changed. How could his spear be so easily caught? What kind of strength did this person have? Chu Kuangren exerted a little strength and grabbed the spear. Then he pulled it out with a backhand and smashed it on the middle-aged man's head. With a bang, the head exploded like a watermelon. When the others saw this, their expressions changed. I've run into a tough one. This won't do. I have to leave as soon as possible. Not good. This person is no ordinary immortal seed. Run! They wanted to leave. One of them used some kind of movement technique and was the fastest. His whole body seemed to have turned into a fiery meteor as he flew into the distance. Upon seeing that, Chu Kuangren hurled the spear in his hand. The spear pierced through the air and let out a deafening sonic boom. The person who escaped the fastest also died the fastest. The spear caught up to him and pierced through his chest, causing him to fall to the ground. Like a hot knife through butter, the spear landed on a huge mountain in the distance, directly piercing more than half of the mountain. As for the others, they were shrouded in Chu Kuangren's little world. Their whole bodies were fixed in midair, unable to move. What are you trying to do? One of the cultivators said with a trembling voice. I'm not trying to do anything. I just want to ask some questions. Chu Kuangren said calmly. Suddenly, a circle of ripples appeared in the void. The immortal door behind Chu Kuangren had disappeared. Seeing this, he fell into deep thought. The door on the outside is fixed, but the door on the inside changes randomly? He did not think about it anymore. Master, what do you want to ask? As long as we know, we'll tell you everything we know. One of the cultivators quickly said. Chu Kuangren then asked about the situation in the broken immortal realm. Soon, he learned that the broken immortal realm was named the Green Orchid Immortal Realm by the natives, and there were many orthodoxies there. Moreover, the Green Orchid Immortal Realm was in a floating state. Every once in a while, it would appear in the universe, and every time it appeared, it would attract many cultivators like Chu Kuangren who came for the opportunities of fortune. They were the outsiders in the eyes of the natives. In the eyes of the natives, outsiders like them were here to fight for the immortal realm's resources, so they would not be kind to them. Therefore, the outsiders did not have a good situation in the Green Orchid Immortal Realm. Those who could really make a name for themselves were mostly attached to some of the natives. As for the outsiders who fought alone, they were extremely suppressed. Sometimes, it was even worse than when they were in the outside world. Had the strong prey on the weak. That's the law of the jungle. Chu Kuangren chuckled. With that, he moved his mind power, and the few cultivators from the Divine Flame cult were easily crushed into clouds of blood mist by him. Let's go. Chu Kuangren said to the little fox beside him. Boss, where are we going next? There's a city in front. Let's go there and have a look. Besides the ancient orthodoxies, the Green Orchid Immortal Realm also had 108 cultivation cities. Each city was equivalent to a top-notch cultivation orthodoxy, and with all 108 cities combined, even the ancient immortal orthodoxies would not dare to underestimate them. The ancient Sparrow City was one of the 108 cultivation cities. I heard that the Green Orchid Immortal Realm has appeared again. It seems that another group of outsiders is coming. Let them come. It's not the first time anyway. Besides those top-notch immortal seeds, how many outsiders can make a name for themselves in the Green Orchid Immortal Realm? They're all like us. Yeah, there are quite a few outsiders in our guards. They're the ones who do the most difficult and tiring work. At the entrance of the ancient Sparrow City, a few guards were chatting. When they mentioned outsiders, there was a hint of disdain in their eyes. At that moment, two figures slowly walked over from afar. One of them was a young lady with a pair of pink fox ears, which made her look very cute. As for the other, her face was shrouded in a faint spiritual light. Her facial features were blurry, but her temperament was extraordinary. However, that was not what the guards were more concerned about. This aura, it's an outsider. Such an obvious outsider's aura. He must have just arrived in the Green Orchid Immortal Realm recently. Every cultivator born in a star or a civilization would more or less carry the aura of their birthplace. As an outsider, Chu Kuangren's aura was very different from the natives of the Green Orchid Immortal Realm. Every outsider had to live in the Green Orchid Immortal Realm for hundreds or thousands of years before they could slowly erase this aura. You're tuning in to the Wandering Hero YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.